Hello, everyone. This is Korak for the American Riichi Mahjong League. I am joined by Lucas tonight. Lucas, how you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to some commentary tonight.
Well, we start off with some B3 games. Of course, you can see kind of a big spread here because, of course, the B3 division is huge. The highlights here are Jocelyn sitting at plus 105.2 in second place overall, and Gaetano at 74.9 sitting in fifth. So if they can keep that up, they will promote to B2 next season, but it's still very early. And of course, we have Dio and Wanshi who are looking to put a little dent in that as they climb their way up as well.
Yeah, looks like Jocelyn off to a very impressive start here. Three first places in their first session. Quite the start for them. Let's see if they can continue it.
Well, we don't see too many stats here because of course we have one session. I'm kind of curious as to why Dio doesn't have any games yet. Probably had a problem scheduling the first session, but we do have the first game starting right now. And dealer has, well, not much. Nice Ryaman in pin, and honestly, that's about it. On the right, another not particularly great hand. This is a count the conchons. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, I hate shapes like that, but I mean, that'll happen a lot of the time. Across the way, pretty standard. Pinfu, Tanyao, maybe distant 2, 3, 4 Sun Scoop. You have that awkward 2, 4, 6, 8 in pin. Now, also potentially accepting Itsu. And on the left, Shaw pair, decent shapes, but not much value yet.
Yeah, nobody's standing out too much, but I definitely do like Toyman's hand here. I think they probably have the best shot. They do get that 9-pin pair, so it does
Yeah, now
advance session on
Ishan
10.
10 would be Ricci and Dora. Can't get Pinfu from that unless you see some sort of switch later. And dealer pairs up the Hatsu, so I guess you can just call and go now.
Yeah,
And
probably.
there's the Hatsu.
I wonder if we're going to see a Honitsu attempt here or just going to cut an honor. Just going to cut an honor, take the
Yeah,
fastest
kind of
route.
floating the option for now. These shapes are all kind of bad, but you have those middle floaters, so it feels better than it could be towards regular hand. And of course, as long as you just don't turn around and draw that X Haku, which happens so often, you're like, okay, this is the right decision. Now even a potential 5, 6, 7 Sanjuku, but it's going to be very hard to integrate all of those.
We did see Toyman with some nice draws. Now it does actually have a chance at Pinfu here with that 3-4 Ramen that they were able to pick up.
Yes, upgrades the 2, 4, 6, 8 to a Ryoncon that will use Dora either way.
Yeah, especially if you draw that 5-pin or 7-pin, you could end up with a nice Ricci.
Dealer manages to find a pair here. An interesting hand on the left, distant Suanko, but might even walk into Sanonko here. But yeah, hand on the right still just feels kind of bad. That's a great draw, though. Now you're thinking, can I get the Sunshko out of this? And the answer's probably not, but at least there's potential for something now.
Right.
Well, now you definitely sell for Sunshko. I definitely got 2, 4 or so, and that looks like the direction you're going to go because this would be Ricci, Sunshoku, Dora.
Yeah, I wouldn't even hate just seeing like an 8 Monchi if that came out at some point, although looking at our dealer's hand, that's not likely to happen.
Yeah. So dealer completes another shape here and is now Ishan 10. We'll need the 6 Mon and the 6, 9 pin. We see a shift on the right,
There's the
taking
Pinfu
the. Ooh,
Tenpai,
there we
the
go.
5-pin.
Yeah. Ricci Pinfu Dora waiting on 2, 5. And ooh, Tempai for dealer as well, as long as the 7 is pushed, which it is. The 2, 5. Ooh,
This is
that
a
6 is.
it is a
That's a very.
Genbutsu weight too,
Yeah,
which
that could
could end up
definitely
coming out.
come out. Ooh. Ooh, that's an inch. The 7 is safe here, and yeah, we'll do that. You also have the potential to shift for an Itsu here. If you just attempt using the 5 monitor pair, draw a 1 or a 6.
2-pin would be safe to push from that, so it definitely could happen.
Could have also called that for an upgrade to a Ryanman Tempai, but still sitting on the 2 pin Genbutsu. I think with that 6 draw, the party's over here. Yeah. Okay, now that 1 I definitely would have cheated instead.
Yeah, it does look like a pretty good call. Upgrades the weight and does give you that E2 chance.
But there's the sumo across the way. Richi's Sumo Pin Fudora. No aura will be 5200 and the Richu stick back. And we move to East 2.
Pretty nice start there. Gives him a bit of a lead here in East 1.
Ooh, dealer's hand looks fun.
Yeah,
All
that's
these
a
pairs, Dora, potential Sanshoku in here. You could even potentially go Honitsu, although I don't think so. All sorts of routes you take with this hand.
yeah, I do probably want to try to open it up, especially if like that Hatsu pair looks pretty good for calling.
Well, a hand that doesn't want to open up is the one on the right, which already has an Ipeco and a pair set up. Maybe go Cheeto, but you love a regular conventional hand, especially if you can pull in F5. So Dora, across the way, pretty standard Pinfu shapes. You do have a 9885 mon you need to get rid of, but I mean, that could be your pair. You could even make a 789 out of that. Plenty of options. And on the left, ugh, that's one of those hands that looks better than it is.
Yeah, I think that best shot at that hand even having a chance of winning is probably just Chitoy, but even that's pretty far away at this point, just 4 pairs.
Yeah, you could go for the Payco and kind of float your option. The Sanshku just feels like it's so far away and it's so hard to use basically anything in that hand, honestly.
Yeah.
Dealer has called the Non, the South, but no Yaku yet. Will be Otozuke waiting for that Hatsu to come out.
Gee,
We do still see
Mm.
2 of those in the wall.
And 7 pin on the left fills that penchant for Lociel. And oh, now I am thinking Sanshoku. At least as an option. Just float it for now and see what happens. Interesting the Tuso was broken as a pair because that basically kills off your Chitoy routes. We'll be going for conventional hand. Probably looking to brute force the Sanshoku.
Yeah, definitely has that in mind, I'm sure. 3-mon draw is quite
gee,
nice there. Although it gives
Oh
up the
no.
Sanchoku, so I take that back.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
definitely would have thrown the Tuso there instead. At least keep your options open.
yeah, Tuso doesn't do a whole lot for you.
And especially if you're going to end up turning around and throwing it the next turn. Across the way is a fairly expensive hand developing, but it's so slow.
Right. Yeah, still needs to pull in a couple good draws here.
Dealer's just sitting Tempai here, waiting on the Hatsu.
Yeah,
Course.
at this point, it's kind of like you're pretty clearly just like Otozuke for one of the Yakuhai. Right now, it looks like the tone and the even the tone's been once cut, so it's just Hatsu is the only one that hasn't been cut. If anyone draws it, I wonder if they're willing to cut it this late.
I wouldn't be surprised to see anyone folding if they draw the tone, because that would be 5,800. But Hatsu, I feel, yeah, just can't come out, especially this late.
Right. There's pretty limited options at what this hand could be for their Yaku. There is the Hatsu. Are we gonna see it held?
I think,
And
oh,
we
I think
do.
I would have just gone for the Chitoy. Go ahead and
Yeah,
just jam the 7 pin.
I think that's probably an easier way to try to complete your hand while holding on to that Hatsu.
I mean, you could just fold. Oh, of course, when you're sitting in first, even if it's early, you at least have a little more flexibility. Now, that is an aggressive push, except it came out across the way earlier last turn with
Yeah,
the tone, which could very well have dealt in.
it definitely could have. I would not trust a once cut tone.
And there's
gee.
Tempai on the right for Ipeco.
Yeah, was able to Mawashi that hand into a Tenpai without having to cut that Hatsu, so nicely done.
Across the way, we have Tempai as well. Now, you cannot call Kuikai in this league, so you cannot just chi the 6-7, cut the 8 because you like the Dora.
Right.
But it would be Tanya Dora 1.
Some pretty heads up play recognizing that the Hatsu is in fact more dangerous than the 5, so there it is a little scary drawing door this
Well,
late,
there's the
but
sumo on the Haite.
wow.
Haite Tanya Dora 4,000. Well, that's a lot cheaper than the 1,000 you're expecting to get from the Tempai payments.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice pickup there.
As the saying goes, we take those. And we move to East 3. Dealer has double Yakuai pair. Ooh, this hand can get expensive very quickly. On
Yeah,
the
you
right, pretty good shapes as well. Maybe 4, 5, 6 Sunshu, but probably some more conventional. You just have two Dora, so calling for anything's good. Across the way, pretty standard Pinfu shapes. You do have an awkward pin with 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 9. But once you get that fixed, everything's pretty straightforward. And on the left, another great hand. I believe that's already Ishunten. That's a
yeah.
very wide Ishunten.
Yeah, it's already Akutsuki Ishanten on turn 3. Quite nice.
Looking to see anything connect to the 3 pin or the 7 so, and that
Well,
is
there's
Tempai,
yeah,
but
I'm
I
not
don't like
taking this
that one.
one.
I'm throwing it
Tsumogiri
back.
9-so. Okay, takes the Dama Tenpai. I wouldn't even take a Dama Tenpai here.
Yeah, I feel if you're gonna do that, what's gonna happen if you draw 8? Are you just gonna sumo and stare at the tile? I just throw the 9 so back, go for a little more value.
It is a little awkward, that you cut the 1 pin on turn 1, so the 3 pin's not quite as good as it usually would be, because if you draw a Thor, it would
That's
be pretty
true.
tin.
Ooh, and let's see a toy upgrade here for dealer. If you got maybe 5 so, instead takes the Ryoncon shape upgrade. I think I'd have been a little more aggressive with that, but this is certainly what an okay way to play it.
Mhm.
リーチ
Oh, we just, I guess given up on this, Dama here, we're just gonna take the Riichi for Riichi Nomi.
Says enough is enough. Gets to the end of the first row and says I've had it. It will be Richie Nomi. Nice deal with 2 calls. You don't feel quite as good about it though.
Right.
That 4 pin's very scary.
Just gonna
Just
go ahead
gets
and
to
push.
push it anyway. Well, when you're in this type of situation, it's very hard to fold, even if you want to. Figure
Yeah,
maybe the Hatsu are safe, but you haven't seen any of those. That could deal in as well.
right, and then after Hatsu, like, that's it. You have nothing, no safety left. We're just not gonna even see the Hatsu called here. Just gonna take the 6-0 Tenpai.
Well, with the 9 mon in the discards, you can't really go for the super greedy Honitsu here. Well, now
Right.
you could go for a toy. Oh, I think
Hmm,
passing is a big
yeah,
mistake.
that's a big value upgrade there. Goes from just 2 Han all the way up to Mongon, and the weight's
4
pretty similar. Although,
Well,
actually, we see
there's
the
the 8
8-so in.
so. Richie Nomi will get an aura out of it. And I'll put Senbei back at 29,300. I move to East 4. Dealer has, well, the very distant makings of a Daisangan, but that seems a tad optimistic, especially when we see the Hatsu pair locked up.
Yeah, that's even more optimistic than I usually am.
Yeah, it does look like a pretty good Honitsu, maybe an Itsu as well. If I get the 8 so I'm calling, if I get the 3 so I'm calling. If the 4 I might call, but then you'd have terrible shapes everywhere. Still, plenty of options here. Ooh, that's a great draw. Yeah, I love the 3 mon cut there. Just go for it. On the right, we have decent shapes in Mon and kind of garbage everywhere else. Anytime you have a 1, 2, 8, 9 in a suit and 8, 9 in another, and the hand doesn't look like Junchan, you kind of get you.
Yeah.
Across the way, a Hatsu pair, good shapes elsewhere, but not much value. And on the left, that 4 so completes a shape. You also have decent Rian Shanten, I guess. I'm not seeing much value. Oh no, is that a timeout?
DC, yeah, that or timeout or, like, disconnect, something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really unfortunate discard.
We're gonna see another, let's see.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
no. Uh-oh.
This is
I
oh
hope they're
no.
back. Oh, no. Yeah, looks like they've disconnected from the game, and this is really unfortunate.
Yeah. That one at least can't be called. It doesn't advance the dealer anywhere. But if you say the 3 so came out, oh that'd be tragic.
Right. Quite unfortunate, because those were some strong draws that you miss. And now you're just, oh, looks like they are back.
Now you're back. You're like, oh no, what just happened to my shape? I threw a 4 and a 7, and this
Right.
5, 6 in my hand just makes me go, oh.
Well, hey, if you get Senpai, no one would expect the 4-7 weight, at least. It doesn't really matter because it's pretty thin, but
That's a
you can
problem.
surprise everyone.
We see an interesting backfire happen across the way. The Hatsu Anko is getting cut.
That isn't true. Was it a pair that then drew the tile as they were cutting it?
Yeah, pulled
Yeah.
something in the hand. I think drew something else, and then said, "Well, we might as well do this." And then you see it here with the Tadashi, three in a row, and it's always unfortunate having. You can call here for Tempai if your dealer does not want to call for the Chun Honitsu, because you would have to throw the Dora.
I'd be kind of tempted just to take the Tempai, but I can understand wanting to greed for the Mongon.
I mean, it could be. Let's see. Can you make Itsu? No, you can't make Itsu Dora two Chun here though. You can definitely upgrade it to Mongon
Khan.
though. Khan. Absolutely. Takes the con. That's your extra value. Now, if you have jump, you absolutely take anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. That's the perfect draw.
Yeah, and this is actually gonna be Itsu if the final 9 so comes out.
Yes. A 6 so, on the other hand, there's only one left, so it's not that good a weight, all things considered.
I suppose either way, it's gonna be a Mongon.
Tempai on the left. Do you dare throw 3 so at Ricci? No. For Ricci Nomi, I agree with that. You're just trying not to get into any more trouble given the early 4-7 so.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Sure.
the
Oh, the 6 so
6.
comes out. That's
And that'll be
painful feeling.
7,700. Oh,
No, full
oh, right, the
12,000.
tune with the Dora. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. That's your Mongon. Doesn't need the Itsu. Could have gotten it for style if the last 9 comes out, but Mongon is Mongon. And
Yes.
rewarded here with 2 Dora, possible Itsu in Mon. Great starting hand. On the right, not quite as good. Anytime the first thing you see is 2, 4, 6, 8, you go, eh. And then you see 2, 3, 6, 8, 9 in another suit, and that hand needs some help. Across the way, you have a couple pairs in So, but feels a little slow. And on the left, we see Shaw pair, Chun pair. Well, now you're thinking, is there a way to convert this to something more valuable like Toy Toy or even Cheetoy? And the answer is, I think you just take anything. I'd even call this Shaw there.
Yeah, I can understand kind of passing, just keeping the Shaw as, like, 2 sort of safe-ish tiles for later, and I don't know, I usually will often, like, pass that first pawn for the Otozuke, especially if it, like, reveals the fact that you're probably, like, a Yakuhai Otozuke.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, here, if you cut the 2-4 pin, you could even take the option to go Honitsu.
Right, that is still on the table. You have,
But cutting
4.
the 8, that kind of kills off that option. So you will be looking for the 3 pin, or better yet, the 6 to get a door in there. Dealer has pretty good shapes here, but you still have that 7-9 mod, which is annoying to get rid of.
Right, but you're really hoping to draw, like, a 3-pin or a 6-pin to try to finish that REM in with the 2 Dora 6-pin.
On the right, that seems like a definite shift for Tanya. I think you're just going to call basically anything at this point because that hand is so far back and has no defense.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the hand across is starting to come together, but still Rian Shanten. Oh, great draw with that 6, although you do have an overlap now with the 3, 4, 6, 7 Mon.
Gee.
And
You
there's the
do.
first chi towards Tanya. There are 2 players that can do it.
Oh, yeah, I would cheat this.
I'd absolutely chi
Oh.
this. Chi just cut the 1 and the
Oh,
3.
never mind,
But
it's
you get
pawn for
interrupted.
Toyman.
That will stop you dead in your tracks, that's for sure.
Yeah, that shape
Tempai
is
across the way for possible Sanshoku on the 8. But Tanya and Dora regardless.
there is the 8-pin, but it's gonna be held, completing that 6, 7, 8.
Not the
Eat.
only person this table who sees 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku.
Wow, so it takes the, we got a Forso Kanshan Ricci here. It looks like it is just Ricci Nomi.
When you see another 4 so, and you want to push, but the question is, what are you going to push? Throws the 8 for now.
Sumo.
Oh, he
The
popped his
Ipatsumo!
It's pretty big.
Reach Ipatsumo. And
Ura
the Aura
2!
too.
Must be
Wow. Okay,
nice. Bad
that'll.
weight Riichi Nomi and hit Ipatsu Ura 2.
Well, as we say over and over in these broadcasts, just sumo is the best way to complete a hand, especially if you can add the Ipatsu and Aura in there. And that will create a new leader as we move to South Round. Dealer has potential Itsu in So, maybe even a 6-7-8 Sanshoku with some shifting, or a 7-8-9 similarly with some shifting. On the right, I know, Junchan, what do you think about that one?
Entertain the idea of a Junshan and then just fold when someone Riichis.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'd play it as well. Is if you get something that pushes that way, sure, take it. Otherwise, you just look at it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you get a two so, then all of a sudden it starts looking a little bit better. But until then, there's not much across the way. June Bear, great shapes everywhere. That's Ishanten, isn't it? Yeah, really. What? No, Rian Shanten. My mistake. Still over that fifth block.
you can pawn the Chun into Ishanten though if you want to just go for a quick hand.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing much value to do anything else with it. Plus, you're in first place, so I'm just going to call anything. On
Right.
the left, potential Itsu, although not anymore.
Home.
Looking for the 5-6-7 Sanshoku, probably. And now we see the double south called on the right.
Yeah, it does give the hand like some. Yeah, at least you can like start calling now, but you really don't even have any shapes to call from. Tuso helps. That's a nice pickup there.
Well, you're still looking for your pair and you're decent way back at this point, but you have some potential at least. And there's another one. That's an instant call. At least
Yeah,
I'd absolutely call that. I don't know what you're going to do with a 3-4 other than just use it with a 2.
I don't see much advantage in passing.
Oh, is that Tempai for dealer? It
Yep,
is.
we're gonna see
Riichi
Ricci.
Pinfu waiting on 4-7.
We do see a lot of 4-7s over in Kamicha's hand there. That's four of them. The hand, it could actually maybe push. Like you can cut Hatsu, which is twice cut. Oh, 8-so draw. So now maybe we do end up seeing. I guess you probably want 7-so to be your pair.
Yeah, 7's going to
So
be your pair regardless. I mean, unless you
yeah,
pair up the 5-6 mon, I don't really see another way it goes.
but we definitely could see them chase this Ricci here. You even have Tanya, so you can call. Also has a Sanshoku chance as well.
Yep, 4-5-6 is certainly possible. And on the right, we're Tempai on 5-8 mon. And that's another tile we see a lot of in hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So 2 on the wall. Dealer is waiting on the 4-7, and it's dead.
Yeah, unless it comes out from someone's hand, but it doesn't look likely at the moment. All these oh, there's
Oh,
the
there's that
Tempai.
big Tempai. Yeah.
Gonna
The second
Dama
just
here.
Dom this, I'd just throw the stick in. It's not like anyone else is gonna play around it. And there's the 8.
Oh no.
Deals into the cheap hand on the table for sure, but
Yeah.
still 2,000. And that's enough to move it to South 2.
I can understand the Dama. It was late and you did have a Sanshoku on the Takame, so
Well, I don't think the 4-7 is going to make a difference as to whether you've reached it or not, as to whether it comes out at that point, and
that's
that's why
true.
I'd throw it in. But you can certainly Dama that. There's a ton of value there. Dealer has pretty nice shape here in So, especially pulling in that Dora there with a 3-4-5. Other than that, well, a bunch of floaters, but not much quite there yet. On the right, maybe an Itsu in Pin. Kind of bad shapes everywhere though.
Interesting, we
So
saw the Haku cut and it wasn't actually pawns there. Perhaps trying to go for a closed hand, although the pawn did look pretty good to me.
yeah, I definitely pawn that. Just take your 1,000 and move on, because if you end up on this jambone, and then what happens when the Haku's dead walled?
Yeah.
On the left, we see a Hatsu pair and a Dora. So again, similarly, a bunch of bad shapes. So I think that's just a call and go. And that may be the thinking across the way, passing the first one. Obviously, the second wouldn't be passed, but the first one is passed simply because the shapes are so good right now.
Yeah, you do have a I think it was Ishanten at the time, so it was a yeah, nice hand. I can understand wanting more than 1,000 points.
And speaking of Yakuhai, dealer has a Yakuhai pair as well with the East, which is Seat Wind.
Home.
And there's the first one, Pawn of the Hatsu on the left. It will be potentially 2,000, but Ishan 10. Ooh, a big draw there for the dealer, pulling in the Tone.
Yeah,
And is now Ishan 10 for a Peiko Tone
Jeez.
Dora 2. But
yeah.
there's the last
Ooh.
Haku. That's the
Oh,
answer.
and goes
Oh,
for
it
the
takes the
Champon weight.
Shampoo Richi. The 7 is a Suji, but trusting the Suji on the retail, especially with a 4, usually isn't particularly effective.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one.
Gee.
Kind of interesting.
We see a chase on the left. Now Tempai on 7-8 Shampon. There is 1-8 left in the wall, and that's it. For the 3-7, there is 1-3 and 1-7.
You
Oh,
can
well, that'll improve the shape. You don't feel that bad about throwing the 7 if you just force the 4.
gonna stick with the
Gee.
Champon.
And Dealer says, I've had enough of this. I have a Yaku and can wait on this Dora that just came out.
Although it doesn't look like Kamichi is gonna be too interested in cutting that, even though it is Gembutsu from the Ricci.
Well, I mean, you're just going to take Tempai at this point. I can't imagine virtually anything else. Ooh, if the tone comes out, do you con it?
I wouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if to see them go for it.
Well, on the left, they say, that's I've had
Home.
enough of this. Ooh, okay. Well, now
Back
waiting on
to
the
yeah,
completely dead tone.
could maybe still K10 though.
I mean, it's still. Oh, there's the
Home.
Dora.
Yikes! And that's gonna deal into East double Dora 5800 and picks up the Ricci stick as well.
And all of a sudden, we have a really close race for second here as Lynx gets hit pretty hard. And Dealer now has, well, the 5's a very interesting starting cut, breaking from the 3-4-5. I mean, I guess there's a Sanshku in here, maybe thinking Junchan, but I
What?
think that's a little aggressive of a play for me.
Yeah, I don't know what that first two cut was.
Well, on the right, we have pretty standard Pinfu shapes, not great ones, but fairly close. Across the way, we have a beautiful starting hand with possibly Peiko, a whole bunch of even tiles in So's probably the only complaint there, but that hand's really good. And on the left, wow. Just wow.
Yeah, look at those pairs. That's, I mean, I'm just pulling on any of those. Could go for some sort of like Toy Honitsu with a bunch of Yakuhai. You even have that Dora if you're lucky enough to pair that up. Got a lot of potential.
Well, you're also thinking if it doesn't come fairly soon, do you just go Chitoy with it?
That is an option. Could go for the Honitsu Chitoi.
Well,
Although
speaking of
very strong.
Chitoy, there's
Oh boy.
Ishanten on the right. Oh, I don't like the 9, so I think you just go commit to the Honitsu.
Right.
But looks to be going Chitoy now, honestly.
I'd
Maybe
still
trying to set
be
up a trap later if the 2 and 5 come out, but we'll see.
you do have pretty good tiles for calling I wonder if it's worth it trying to shift to a Toy. It's a tough decision
Dama
to make.
across the way. Dama waiting on 2-5 pin for Pinfu Tanyo, Takame Ipeiko. And there's the 5, and it probably comes right out, and it does, and that'll be 2,300. Assuming this is taken, it is not.
Oh, I feel interesting. I'm not sure why
Home.
you Dama in the first place, but I feel like you still have to take the Ron.
Now, you see the call of the Chuna on the left, definitely going for that Toy Honitsu with a lot of extra value. Of course, the question is, when will that South come out? It is the live door at this point, so everyone should be a little squeamish about it.
Home.
Ishan 10 now.
Or if you draw another South on the left, you may just be thinking Honroto.
Ryoto, Dora 2, Chun, Hatsu.
Could take the wider Ishanten and will, and
Yeah,
everyone at the table goes, wait, the live South on row 3 and no one cares? Are they all on the wall?
looks like it.
There's the first backfire.
Home.
Tempai on the left. Oh, let's see,
What about
Champon 6 and Tone.
yeah, there we just see the one tone as the Dora indicator, but the other one's still on the wall.
Senpai on the right, for there's the Dama on the Peiko.
So the Dama hand deals into the other Dama hand.
Well, we move to South 3. Dealer has a couple pairs, including Yakuhai East. And let's see, looking at it now, 4 pairs. Wonder how much you want to stay closed and how much you're willing to open that for just the one Han.
Well, yeah. Probably just I feel like I would be tempted to pawn, but I could if you do keep the hand closed, it is you do get more value.
Did we get a freeze?
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
there's the
Well,
calls.
I'd say there are the calls.
Tempai
Waiting
now.
on 7 Mon 6 so. And that 7 Mon across the way may come out right here and does.
Yeah, picks up the quick 1500 and gets another wrench on here. Can try to extend their lead further.
There's a South 3 one. Oh, dealer, I can already
Whoa.
tell. That's a nice little starting hand. I'm just cutting the 2-5 so I'm going Honitsu if I can. But instead play a little more efficiently. On the right, we have decent shapes, but not much value into the pull in the 7-pin Dora. Across the way, pretty standard pin two shape. Just want to fill that Penchon 1-2 so. On the left, you have a pay pair, which is your Yakuhai seat win. There's the Haku call for dealer. And on the left, continued decent shapes as well. Maybe a distant 1-2-3 Sunscoop, but I think you're just taking anything. Oh, and a Daiminkan for dealer. Going all out here.
You do get a bit of extra food from that. Unfortunately, didn't get too useful of a new Dora. You could use the 7 so if you draw up, it doesn't have any in hand right now.
Ooh, that's a great tile. I'm definitely thinking Honitsu now. And that con, if you roan on a Ryanman, it will not help your Fu because you would have been at 40 either way. But if you get another set somehow, or if you sumo, or if you have a Kanchan, that would boost you to 50 Fu, which would be 9,600. And that is what that Pwn will do. Regardless of what Tempai it is, it will be 9,600.
Bit of an awkward Ishan 10 with that 4-mon being pawned. The 3-5 Conchan's not great, but hopefully you can try to like pair up a 3 or 5-mon here.
As long as the 7 doesn't pair up, you can work around it
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
the
getting
only
you.
kind of bad draw.
Yeah. Because even if you draw the 8, you wait on the Tonki 3 Mon, and that's not bad. Because
Right.
there's a Kabe now. Meanwhile, the hand to the left is getting significantly better, going for that Chanta, Dora, maybe Pei. And we have Tempai on the right for no Yaku right now, but would be waiting on the 7 so second Dora for Dora 2 with a sumo, presumably.
I certainly would go for it. This the hand has so much potential if it wins, even if it is not a great weight.
Well, dealer's Tempai now waiting on that 8 Mon. There are 3 in the wall, so that's actually a really good weight.
Yeah, this hand if it like if you Ricci, it's gonna be at least Ricci Door 2 and you have 2 Ura chances.
Ooh, can upgrade to Toy Toy now, and Will waiting
Wow.
on the 5-7, which is actually a much worse weight. There is 1 5 Mon left, and now we see the calls really start. Tempai on the left on the 8 so for Chanta Dora. And with that 6, you could choose a Ryanman either way, but we'll stick with the Shampon.
Ends up breaking Tempai with the 6-0 cut.
And call for K10 across the way. Makes sense. But there's the 8 so deal in. The Chanta Dora on the left with extra Fu, and that'll be enough to push Sembe into second place. Now, we only have one person over 30,000 to get to all last, but everyone's in contention for at least second. And Dio has a bunch of pairs, including a Dora pair. So you'd love to be able to just go for the Tanya, but you
Home.
also have that 7 8 Mon. So that may be hard to pull in, but I think you're just gonna take anything you can. On the right, decent shapes, but we'll probably have to keep it closed. Across the way, we see the South Call and maybe Honitsu. Other than that, I think we should be taking the 1,000 points and trying to end the game quickly. And I definitely needs to play it now. On the left, pretty nice shapes as well, just not too much value. But when you're in first place, you don't need value. Would love, of course, to pull in a 3-pin Dora, but not keeping any floating tiles right now. Still has the 3 Yakuhai honors, but they're just solo, so they can't do anything with them yet. Great draw there for Dealer, pulling in the 6 Mon. Now you can call basically anything and cut the 1 pin.
Yeah. Sonya looking like the fastest way for this hand to complete for sure. And does have that 2 Dora for the value.
Interesting on the left now, a very wide Ishan 10, maybe even Ipeco.
Home.
But Tempai across the way for Toy Toy non, so that would be over 30K if you can make it. Dealer is now Ishan 10, takes the potential Shampon on 3-pin 4-mon later. Just casually throws the 6. It feels like a dangerous tile on this board, but gets through. Oh, and there's a Chew, and that will be pawned on
Home.
the left, and we will see a Tempai. The question is which one?
So the
Takes
3
the Dora away with a 3, and that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Dealer now upgrades to perfect Ishan 10 if the North is cut, which it is. You have that one little 3-pin on the right that's just kind of floating, but you know it can't come out. Even in 4th place, I don't think you can throw it. Two players Tempai and the dealer in a very wide Ishan 10. Oh, and that's Tempai for
Yeah.
dealers is an instant
Jeez.
Ricci. Ricci Dora 2 waiting on 4-7. Of course, the 4s are dead, mainly because we see 3 of them across the way. The 7 so has 3 left, looks like. It's actually a pretty good weight for this
That
late.
that's really good, yeah. And
A
looks
fold from first place says, I don't have anything to do with this. You guys have fun.
I could see if anyone other than Kamicha draws
Sumo.
7 so oh, just Sumo the 7 so.
Ricci
And that's a
Sumo
huge
Dora
win.
2.
Dora
That's going
Dora
to be a
Mongon.
Mongon. No aura, but doesn't matter when you get the 4 Han and the Fu there. 36,700. And now we have a fight for first place, along with the fight for what is now third place. Dealer here in South 4-1 has, well, not much. We have a Dora floater, but honestly, everything else here is kind of terrible. You almost feel regretful of the shotgun. You might want to go Gokushi with how bad this is. On the right, decent shapes. You do need to fill in the 7-so Penchon and 4-so Kanchan across the way. Now that's a good hand. That is
Pretty Ishan 10.
Ishan 10 already with a really wide shape. You'd love to upgrade to Rion Peiko, but you probably can't.
Oh, this is kind of oh, besides that Sumogiri, I would have kept that. You do have a Sanshoku chance. Probably maybe cut a 3-so there.
And on the left, we see pretty good shapes as well. Maybe 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku.
Chi.
Now Chito
You
Ishan 10 for Toyman as
you just
well.
need anything here. So we'll take the Ishan 10 for Tanyao. Now will not be able to accept the 9 mon. We'll need specifically 6 mon and the 3-pin.
The dealer Tsumogiri that 6 mon, probably seeing a distant 789 Sanshoku. So
Well,
looks
I
a little
said from the
difficult.
start, this hand's really bad. So there's
Yeah.
also the alternative, just getting rid of your terrible tiles early. Now, interesting that the 1 mon is kept. I think I would have cut the 3-pin there and then maybe floated some options later with the potential Ricci pin Fui Peiko.
Yeah, I think really valuing that Chitoy Ishan 10, keeping that 3 pin around, but the 1 mon has its own value as well.
The hand on the right is a really wide Ishan ton, so that's where it looks like we may see some value, especially with that 2 Dora. Could even accept a third Dora and use 9 pin as the pair.
Yeah, expect if we did see a 4-7 so draw, we'd probably reach discarding 4 mon, taking that 6-9 9 pin weight. Just going for the maximum value.
There's Tempai across the way. Ricci Peiko waiting on 2 mon. We see there is only 1 left in the wall, and there's a call for Tempai on the left, waiting on the 6-9, but cannot win on the 9. And there's Tempai on the right. That is an easy chase, Ricci. Even with a Dora, it's not like you can really afford to fold here,
Oh, wow.
but does decide to fold. I think that just accepting fourth and giving up on the game. I think you just have to jam the Dora, and if it deals in, it deals in.
Yeah, I think
And
maybe
as we find out, it
feeling
would have been the Apatsu on the 7 so gave up a ton of potential value.
right.
Although I don't think the 7 necessarily would have come out if you hit the Ricci button.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's right. 9 mon
Right,
doesn't deal in.
that's the cheap end because it deals into nothing.
Yeah.
So for the 6 mon, there are, what, 2 left? Yes, I see 2. And as mentioned earlier, just 1 2 mon. Well, there's one of the 6s. I bet the 9 comes out because everyone knows it's safe.
Yeah, not much reason to cut 6 mon instead.
Well, there's a 6 mon, and that gives a potentially Peiko. We'll
Oh, it's
throw a bit
Fruity
of
10!
temporary
Yeah!
story 10 because the 9 just came out. Oh, if you're sitting in that seat, you're just losing your mind from that.
Right. You're just hoping someone thinks it's safe and cuts it again, but it doesn't
But
happen.
you'll absolutely accept the 1,500. Now we're gonna have X Shy with 43,100 in the final score. That's Lynx at 10.2, Sembe at minus 10.6, and Lociel at minus 28.7. Again, I just think you need to be willing to jam the door, as disgusting as it is in that South Four. I think you just have to go for it.
Yeah, I'm thinking they probably felt the pressure of needing to build a big hand and maybe felt that just Ricci, if they had cut the Dora, it's not going to be enough. But I think you just go for it. It would have been like Ricci Pinfu Dora. As it turns out, I think they might have got a Patsu, although it
I
probably
might
changes
have gotten
after the Ricci.
Ipatsu. Might have tried to fold, but I don't know if they had enough tiles to fold anyway, even against the Ipatsu. When you're facing 2 Richis with Ryama and Tempai, you generally just jam almost anything,
Yeah.
especially when you have 3 calls. It's not like you have any backup plans. But looks like their next game will start very shortly, as we're about a minute away now. And we can see Jocelyn and Gaetano are both near the top, but big hit there. And we see, especially Gaetano, I believe that was a pretty big drop. And see, we're a little bit behind because we haven't updated all the sheets to know how all the names are to match the names up to the player names inside Tenho. So it gives a little bit. We're still relatively early in the season. This is B3, the new players to the league largely. Which is why even when we pull up the big stat sheet, you'll see in some cases they have 5 games played in their ARML careers because, well, they're new. And you're going to see a lot of very what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say fluctuating, but that's not the right word.
Diverse? Is that what you're going for?
Diverse play. Yeah. A lot of people will be taking all sorts of different positions, all sorts of different strategies, all sorts of different ways to play the game. And so you see a big set of skills that are in B3, some of whom are just brand new, some of whom are really good and just hadn't gone into ARML until this season. But regardless, we have East 1 here. Dealer has pretty nice shapes, not too much value. He's pulling the 3-Amon. That's your Dora. Speaking of 3-Amon, though, 2 of those on the right with a Hatsu pair. So I think that's just a call and go hand. Speaking of call and go, across the way, a Haku pair. And other than that, not great shapes. Maybe Chitoy now. And on the left, I don't know, Ryonkon, Penchon. You see the shapes are there. They just feel slow.
Feels like a battle, the two Yakuhai hands to me. I'm not sure that Dealer or Kamicha can keep up here.
Dealer could go Tanyao.
That is possible, yeah. If you just cut the 1-3 Conchon, you do have that 4-5-5-6 shape to try to get 2
Well,
blinks
now
out.
even more so. You can just get rid of the 1 immediately, and you still have your shapes. We do see that Hatsu call on the right with the 2 Dora. Now, I don't like really keeping that 2-Mon around.
Gee.
You can just in case you see a 1, but I'm a little worried about your pairs. And they are going to have an overlap needing a 1 and a 4. Or 2 4s.
I would like to see the 2-Mon locking the 3-Mon Dora as the pair there, keeping the 5-So around.
And we may see it right here. And yeah, we
Gee.
do. This also allows you to accept another 3-Mon. We see a call across the way, which uses one of those Dora.
You're going for the Autozuke on the Haku there.
Oh, well, now you just throw the Dora and take Tempai and kind of sort of sigh.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what I wanted to draw, and the wall says, tough luck.
Still a 2,000 point hand if you can complete it.
5-pin has all 4 left on the wall. That is very strange.
Upgrade to Ryomen here.
Interestingly, all the 2-pin are still on the wall as well. There's the first of the 2-5 Ryanman.
Yeah, that's going to stick around for now as a floating tile, but I can definitely see that coming out from Kamicha later.
Interesting, the 8-Mon pair was cut. Maybe thinking Itsu, but if you're going to do that, I think you cut 9-So.
Boom.
Well,
Right.
regardless, there's our Tempai across the way for Haku Dora, waiting on 4-So 6-Mon. Of course, you see 2 6-Mon locked in the dealer's hand, 1 4-So on the hand to the left, so they're just waiting on 1 tile. Yeah, dealer definitely moving towards that Tanyao, maybe even Chitoy Tanyao.
It is Chitoy Ishanten here.
And that
He'll
will
move the
deal
2.
in just the cheap 2,000, but does move the game along. We'll move to East 2. Dealer has a Hatsu pair, and other than that, not great shapes, but 2 Dora, so you don't need great shapes. On the right, we have a nice shape in Mon, decent shapes in Pin. We're going to pull the 2-pin and 8-pin. Across the way,
Boom.
a completed shape, Ryanman, pretty good overall. Just again, not much value. You have a floating 9-So. Doesn't really connect anything. Of course, since dealer has 2, it's going to be very hard to complete. And on the left, we have Ishanten with a quick Haku call for just 1,000. But if you don't see any value, there is nothing wrong with taking your 1,000 points.
Definitely not. Do have a pretty nice 8-So draw, which gives you a Ryamen, which accepts a Dora. Gonna cut the 4-pin, giving up the 3-4 Ryamen potential. Decides to keep the 1-pin around, I guess looking for a Junchan.
Very greedy play. I think if you're going to do that, you can definitely go that way. It also allows you to call, especially the 9. If you think the 9-So is going to come out, it makes a certain amount of sense for the Junchan Sunshku Dora.
Gee.
There we see
And
the 9
that's
coming
going
out.
to be the play. This is aiming for that Junchan Sunshku Dora. We'll need a 2-pin, and a bit regretfully can't call the 1 from 2 turns ago. Of course, as always, you draw the thing you just called.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting shape on the left. You cut 6-7-So? No, cutting from the 8-7 because, of course, the 9 would have made it 4-10.
Yeah, just cut the 5, drew the 8-Mon backfire in the middle of cutting the 7-9 Conchon.
Tempai on the left on 6-7-So. There is 1 of each left. And there's one of them with the 7 so pulled into the dealer's hand is now Ishan 10 for what would be Hatsudora 2.
Keep that 3-mon around if you want to try to upgrade, improve that Kanchan. But
Well,
keeping
I
the
don't
2 is
really
pretty.
think so. Not with a 4 and 6 discarded already.
That's fair.
Now, if you're worried about the 3 deal again, which you very well could, just given these pawns, then that's one thing.
リーチ
Ooh,
Well,
Hatsu is just gonna immediately Ricci here. Taking the Hatsu,
uh,
Ricci, Dorodoro.
yeah, you could even just Dama this, just considering the 6 is kind of scary to everyone. But throws the stick in, and of course, I'm Korak. I never have a problem with just smashing the button.
Yeah, I think I might have just taken the 3 Hondama personally, but can understand just reaching here.
We do put a bunch of pressure on the rest of the table. That's always the biggest advantage of Ricci.
Right,
Yeah,
and
Patsu's rice. Yeah, Orador's nice, but making everyone panic is immense fun.
it's not like 6-0 looks particularly likely to come out even if you do Dama.
Good to see the 1-3 cut on the right here. It
Maybe
seems to
deuce
be the
here.
direction it's being headed. I think I just pawn the 1 mon and throw the 3 pin.
Just draw the 2-pin backfire, unfortunately. But yeah, doesn't take the Tempai. Perhaps scared to push the 3-pin.
Well, if you're going to do that, just push the south because it's once cut already from what our Toyman anyway. So you know it's reasonably safe.
Decides to push the 3-pin now. If you were gonna push it later, I probably just would have taken the Tempai.
Yeah. Oh, there's the last 6 so. I think that's party over. You just fold here. The question is, how do you fold? Do so. I honestly think almost anything else is a mistake, and
Don't.
that's one of them. Oh no. The
Double
double
wrong on
row.
the 6-0.
And that will be Mongon for dealer at least. 1 aura, but not 2, so will be the 12,000, but pays out 13,000 for a very aggressive push for Ishanten. Certainly
Yeah.
scared of that Hatsu, but that 6-0 is plenty scary as well.
That's a pretty painful loss there. Drops him down to 17,000.
Yeah, and East is in a great position. Dealer starts out with a double Yakuhai pair. The south is Dora, and you have to call it because that's the last tone in the wall. None of the shapes aren't great, but 2,900 plus 300 is good enough. On the right, pairs. It feels like you're trying to float Chitoy and don't really know what to do with that hand. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't know what to do with that hand either.
Yeah.
Across the way, similarly decent shape. You level 1, 2, 3 Sun Scoop. It looks very hard to pull off. And on the left, another just not great hand. Dealer seems to have the best hand here, and that just now looking at a Ryoncon and probably calling the 1 pin.
Ooh, cuts the 2-pin, giving up the 3-pin acceptance. I wonder why
I
we keep the
definitely
4
cut the
mon.
4 instead. Well, thinking a little bit more about Toy Toy, and I don't mind thinking about Toy Toy, but you're hurting your efficiency in the meantime by not just cutting that floating 4, especially considering you're starting to see the 3s and 5s fall out of hands.
Mhm. Like now we'll see the 4-mon cut. No, gonna just like I guess hard focus on this Toy, giving up chances at just a double tone.
Yeah, I feel the 3,200 is plenty good,
Yeet.
especially if you either get another turn. And there's our Tempai across the way. Ooh, the donkey wait on 1 so.
1
Interesting. Yeah. I feel like I might try to fish around for this Sanshoku, but it is kind of hard. Oh, never mind. Ipatsu Onso. There you
Yeah,
go.
I don't think we know what we're doing either. There's your sumo. It is not Ipatsu because there was a call. Will
Oh
be a
yeah.
Ricci sumo and get it back up to 19,300, moving to East 3. Dealer here, another one of these just bad hands. We've seen a lot of really bad ones. Anytime you start off with a 1-2-5-8 and your next suit 2-5, you just go, ugh.
Yeah, and especially looking at the rest of the table, I'm not sure it can hang.
Yeah, I think dealer's in some big trouble here. On the right, ooh, big fill in with that 5 mon. That is a potential Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Ipeiko, but you do need something to draw around the Dora. Across the way, Hatsuanko, decent shapes there. That is a Ryan Shanten. And on the left, maybe a 678 Sanshoku, but I think you just go for anything you can get.
Looking like they maybe want to go for Tanyo. It does cut that south pair.
Yeah, certainly a little bit understandable. I feel you are playing a bit too much. The seven mon doesn't do much this hand. I like the idea of the Sanshoku, but if you're gonna do that, then I don't know, maybe the 3 pin.
I'm always scared if I cut my only pair like that I just won't find another one.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. When you have these bad shapes, though, it's not as big an issue. Like even there, that could have been your pair with your Tubon.
Yeah, I probably would have kept that RDMN around. I think just really doesn't want to give up this Sanshoku chance, although I think you could have cut something from Pinzu as well.
Meanwhile, that hand on the right is looking scary.
Yeah, quite a nice Ishanten there.
Will presumably be on a Shampon at the end, but may even be the very awkward 6 pin 5 so 8 so wait.
We also do have Toyman with a pretty nice Ishanten that can also call because they have that Hatsu. It wouldn't be for much value, but could take a quick Tempai.
Yeah, dealer's head just isn't budging.
No.
There's just not much you could do with it, especially when you saw what everyone else had.
Yeah.
Interesting here, you could see a shift. No, it just goes and throws the one, plays efficiently. And now we have that problem on the left that you don't have a pair anymore. This could be Tempai right now, waiting on the 5-8 mon.
G
7 doesn't actually speed that hand up and in fact puts you in potential flurry 10. I don't like that call.
Yeah, I think just really trying to get this Sanshoku and just sort of blind to everything else here. We could see a Chi for
Chi.
Tempai here, and we
Yeah, I
do.
think you just have to take that one. And speaking of cheese for Tempai, dealer's definitely fishing for it.
Yeah, you just at this point just trying to K10 and get a wrench on if you can.
Well, I mean, if you got to Tempai, even K10 from how that started, that's actually very impressive.
It really is. We could swap to a Ryomen weight here.
Would actually put. No, just throws the 7 anyway. Was going to say, would have put the player on left to Tempai waiting on a donkey, but it's not going to be the situation. And unless we see a call, this will be the last draw coming up here. And yeah, throw the relatively safe for 8 so. And across the way gets 3,000 as the Tempai payments and a whole bunch of really promising hands, and none of them delivered.
Yeah, Shimocha's hand was Ishanten very early, just wasn't able to ever finish, complete the hand.
Dealer here has great starting hand. Potential Rishi, Pinfu, Tanya, Dora on the right. Maybe Itsu in so great shapes elsewhere. Across the way, Chun pair, pretty good shapes everywhere. And on the left, decent shapes everywhere. Maybe a Sanshoku, but every hand here is better than every hand except the one on the right from the last hand.
Yeah. It's just gonna come down to whoever can draw better
Home.
here.
Or
You see
call
Toyman
better.
opening up. Yeah.
Ooh, 3 so it's a very interesting draw here. And you obviously got the I don't like the 8, so I'm definitely cutting Hatsu here.
Yeah, you had routes
Gee.
for a Tanyao here.
Well, it may
Lincoln
still be a
Pairs.
Tanyao, but you've kind of left yourself in potential Achizuki position. And see, here's the 8, so you could have pawned that and just maybe cut the 7-8 Mon if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe keeping Hatsu as a safe tile, but I don't think you
Yeah,
need to keep a safe tile this early.
no, you generally never do, especially when you see 2 people open. What's the third person going to do? Especially looking at the discards. Sumogiri, 9 Mon. You don't think that's that close necessarily.
Home.
Especially as dealer,
Wow.
I think you should just push as fast as you can.
Well, we now have an Ishunten on the right for Tanya Dora 2.
Does end up pairing up that Hatsu they were keeping, although it doesn't actually help the hand all that much. Has already
Senpai
been
on the
once
right
cut.
for that Tanya Dora 2. Of course, can't always win on the Dora. That'd be a way to Mongon. And there's the last Dora, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Just the one 5-so in the wall here, because I don't think that 5-so is coming out from Toyman anytime soon.
And if you draw the 2, maybe it'll come out, but not immediately. We do see a 6-7-8 call. Throws the 3, so locking in the Dora shape. Definitely looking for the last Hatsu.
You have a chance to go Tanya depending on what you draw, but at this point it looks like you just have your 5 blocks set, including that Hatsu pair.
On the
Again,
right, could have changed the weight to the 6, so instead just keeps the Champon.
yeah, doesn't really. It's hard to read that your weight is this dead, and it is tempting to wait on Dora.
I figure it's not coming out from the wall, from anyone else, but it could come out from the wall. You have no idea they're all locked in like this. Though you should be a little suspicious when you see that 7-8-9 call. Tempai on the left for Sanchoku Nomi waiting on 7-pin, and it's very likely to come out for the dealer. But there's the 5!
And like I was saying, that 5 Sonala could come out, but it actually did in the end, and deals into the Tanya Door 2.
It's a direct hit from first place. The second is now 100 points away, starting as dealer in South 1. Has pretty good shapes in 2 Dora here. It's a great starting hand.
Fantastic.
On the right, okay shapes. You have that 5-7-7-9. These get filled in. You do have a bunch of extra honors to get rid of. Across the way, decent shapes as well. Pretty Sandorichi Pin Futanyo. And on the left, decent shapes, but you really need to pull in that Penchon to make that anything useful. And cuts the gate so giving
Every
up on
one
the
of dealer's draws have been great here. Now Ishan 10 for Sanshoku Tanya Door 2. I guess it wouldn't be Door 2 if you get
It's
Sanshoku.
not I don't think that's Ishan 10. I think that's Ryan Shunten.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It's an awkward shape, so I certainly understand.
Well,
Oh my
there's Ishan
goodness,
10.
what a draw. Now, how greedy do you want to be with this hand?
Gonna lock in the door pair, give up
That's
the
the
Sanshoku
greediest
chance.
play. Okay, we can go for that. Gives up the Sanshoku, gives up the wider weight, and just wants 2 Dora. Now, the 6 Mon, it's a pair right now, but really when you're keeping that, you're hoping to draw maybe 7 Mon or 2 Mon. And then the left, Ishan 10. Oh, that is an annoying draw with the 2, so I'm just throwing it right back.
I still got the 6-mon pair. And that makes the
Yeah,
I guess
that's
it's actually fine.
It feels weird, but it's probably fine.
I guess this way you often just end up on a Champon weight though, right? It's hard to
That's the
get a
problem.
Ryan in here.
Well, you're looking for that 1-4-7 draw. In so.
Right.
Well, speaking of 7s, there's a call on the right of the 7 Mon. Well, okay, there you go. I mean, yeah.
Really nice Ishan 10 here with 2 Sanminchans.
It's about as wide an Ishant as you have, but it would be potentially 4-10 because of that 8 Mon discard.
It's true. I wonder if they noticed that.
Ooh, Tempai on the left. Will there be a Richi? Dama is waiting on 3 Mon with no Yaku. I would call this specifically because of the 4-10.
There you go.
Takes
Scared
a
of
Champon here, waiting on 3 pins 6-so.
Maybe scared of the 1-so draw. Doesn't want to have that potential backfire.
Now, it's certainly a potential here, and that is K10 on the right. And there's the 7-so, so that would have dealt in. Interesting, on the right, you see the 7-so kept, looking for Yaku, giving up Tempai.
Well, there's the one draw you were afraid of. Although I guess the 7 would have dealt in first.
Yeah.
Home.
There's the 3, no Yaku. We will see a pawn. And that is still Ishan 10. I think in that situation, you just take K10 if you're going to do this.
Especially this late in the round. Now you have to get lucky just to get back into Tempai.
Oh, and that upgrade to Pinfu on the left now. Well, okay, if the 5 comes out, you'll call that for Tempai for sure.
G.
There you go. That's the form on. We're seeing everyone call here.
Yeah, you get a Tempai, you get a Tempai, you get a Tempai, we all get a Tempai. That's a terrifying drop. You just have to jam it. And everyone's Tempai.
There you go.
You're in pretty good shape here as well. You do have some overlap with the 4-6-7-7 and 6-7-7-9, but shapes are pretty good, all things considered. On the right, we have. Is that an Ishan ton already? Yeah, it
sure
is. Wow. Potential Ricci, Tanya, Dora across the way. Speaking of pretty good starting hands, double Yakuhai, a floating Dora, great shapes. And on the left, a hand that's decent, just looks bad compared to everything else. And there's
Three-so
Tempai on
draw.
the right. Oh my goodness, Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, possible Tanyao. And that 9, you just figure has to come out eventually from someone.
It is already one chance this early.
Ooh, you just got the 5-5 here and go for the Honitsu. I think I do not like that 8-so cut.
I think maybe thinking about a toy or something, but this is quite slow.
Especially
basing
when
down
there's already
Ricci.
Ricci on the board. But it doesn't matter if you just sumo. Ricci, sumo, Pinfu, Dora.
And
Or a 2,
wow!
and that moves it to a Hanemon, and that blows this game wide open. Xshy was sitting in a pretty good position. He's now going to struggle to stay over 30,000. Look at what Dealer has now. That is a ridiculously wide Ishan 10 with 2 Dora, which are a Yakuhai.
Oh boy.
Let's see, what does this get to Tempai on? This is one of those fun games. Well, backfire on the Shaw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pin. Any of those will do it. And I guess right now it'd just be the 9-so or Haku.
7 8-so as well would do it for you. If
Oh,
you
you're
want
right.
to
7, 8, 9. You're right. Well,
Oh,
you just
for
call
sure.
now.
Yeah.
I would probably consider cutting the 1.
And wait on the 9-so?
Yeah, wait on the 9-so instead, just because 2 of the 1 pin are already out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, and you would have hit the Tsumo immediately.
Sometimes our random guesses are correct. Usually they're not.
Looking very smart there.
Could have seen a call for Tempai on the right there, decided to pass it.
Could have actually cheated that if you want to change your weight. If you don't like the 1-4, could have swapped to 2-5.
Well, if you call the 8, you could throw the 7-so and be for Tanya Sanshku. But looking for a bit more value here. It's certainly
I was just talking for Dealer. Dealer could have cheated.
Oh, Dealer. Yeah, you could definitely go for a lot of stuff here.
I like the 2-5 pin weight better than this 1-4.
Ooh, that's an interesting draw. Throws the 6 pin back though. Well,
Oh
that's
wow!
a huge
What a
weight
draw!
upgrade. Wow.
So 2, 3, 5, 6 4-sided weight here for Dealer.
Right.
Sumo.
And there's the
Well,
5
there's
so
one of them.
long gone Sumo.
And of course, everyone's going to look back at the logs and go, that just wasn't fair. And the answer is, you're right, it wasn't. Welcome, Beijing. Bermuda South 2 at Sembe is now rolling over 60,000 and has another great starting in here with the Haku, floating Yakuhai, and a possible Onitsu. Although not anymore. Now you just take the standard shape.
Might
On
have
the
kept-
right, yeah, I'd have definitely kept the 3-so and probably kept throwing the tone at this point. 3-so connects to a lot of stuff. Like
Oh, there's
say
another
3-so.
one. Yeah.
On the right, pretty nice. I'd have called the 3-so there as well. Just because these shapes are terrible.
Yeah, just start pushing for a Tanyo.
本
Across the way, well, there's our Haku call for dealer. Across the way, decent shapes, not too much value. You do have a Dora, so maybe Richie Pinfu Doron on the left. Again, decent shapes, but not great. But regardless, everyone's just kind of looking at dealer right now. Or at least I assume us and our viewers. Everyone else would be looking, there's kind of a call. I wonder what's going on here. So I think literally any pin tile is Tempai.
Yeah, that seems to check out.
リーチ
Tempai on the left for Richie Dora waiting on 8-pin. There are 2 out already.
That
And
one's
there's
not
one
coming
of them.
out. Gotta
Yeah,
take the
just throws
1
the
4
one chance
Senpai.
9-pin. Yeah, absolutely. 4-so doesn't feel good, but you gotta push, don't you?
Feels like it against an early Ricci, almost like no Suji are out yet. Your dealer.
Well,
You
there
have
are
Senpai.
Suji. They're all in So, though.
相撲
And they're rewarded with the Sumo. Just the 1,500, but you do have 1,300 in the middle, and we'll push Senbei up to 63,800 and another Renchon.
Keep this pressure going. It's got another good starting hand here. The door 5-so. It's
Indeed.
got a couple nice Ryanmens.
Maybe even a Sanshku with the 3-4-5. On the right, not great shapes. Maybe 79 Sanshku. Across the way, that's a bit better, especially you can go for the Honitsu with a Pei pair and a Hatsu pair. And on the left, decent shapes as well. Not much value either, but you'll take it.
ポン
Might have
There's
even
the
called
Hatsu. We're going
the.
to see the sellout. Yeah, there's the full sellout.
I might have even called the 5-mon. It doesn't actually like change the Shanten, but it does give you an additional Ramen and Monzu, which you could try to complete later.
地
And dealer says, okay, well, I think I'm behind. And he's right.
Yeah, you do have like Tanyo. You have a Sugar chance, but it's kind of awkward because you have to give up the door to do that.
Well,
Unless you can-
because you use the 3-4. Oh, you mean the 2-3-4? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's possible. But if you draw another 5-so, then sure, go for it. Tempai across the way on 3-mon for Hatsu Honitsu.
地
We have a Junshan starting to form on the right. Could even call that, but decides to pass.
スモ
Well, there's your Sumo, and that is a Penchon fill, so that will be 5,200 with the extra Fu, plus the 600 in the middle. And that will close the gap significantly as we move to South 3.
Pretty close battle for second here. Of course, we do have one player well ahead of the pack here.
There's a pretty decent starting in here. Maybe
Gee.
Itsu and Pin. Thinking about the call here, just goes for the Tanyao, which is certainly acceptable. On the right, few pairs. Shapes are kind of bad, though. Anytime you see double Penchon and not too much else, you're not thrilled with the hand. Across the way, decent shapes as well. You really need to fill in the 7-mon to fill that Penchon. Other than that, everything's good, though. And on the left, well, that just looks like a pretty standard Tanyo hand. Maybe you need Peiko and Loramon.
I think they're probably considering a Chito as well, because we did see him cut the 3-pin on turn 1, getting rid of that 2-3 Ramen.
It's always frustrating. You have a Tanya call it, then your Ipeco fills.
Right. Well, there's
But now a very wide headless Ishan 10.
yeah.
Each.
Tempai across the way. It is a Pinfu waiting on 6-9. Of course, if you get the last 6 pin in the wall, it will still not be Tanya because you have a 9 mon in the hand.
Just gonna be a Ricci Pinfu, hope for some Uro.
ポン
And you're sitting in second place, just trying to move the hands along. But if you do this, you're aiming for 30,000, and you'll push third place, your main competition, down a bit. Instead, only gets 2,000, but we'll push up to 25.4, and it will require a Mongon Sumo instead of a Mongon Roan now. So that's actually a pretty big shift. Dealer, though, on the other hand, is a great starting in here. Probably Peiko in pin. You also have a Dora shape. Could even go Honitsu on the right. Probably Itsu in pin across. Decent shapes. Not great, though. That's a nice fill-in with your Ryumen turning to a completed shape. You're going to pull the 3-mon in, though. And on the left, a Haku pair and a Dora and not too much else. You'd love to turn into maybe Janta. You could even call this, depending on how much you want to sell out for it. But I like the pass and then draw the 2. That looks a lot better. Ooh, now interesting. With that 1-mon Dora, I might have called that.
Yeah, just Chi 2-3.
Yeah, Chi the 2-3 and potentially Dora Tonki for up to Mongon.
Could have been interesting. I'll definitely call this, I imagine. Yeah, we do see it.
Yeah, you usually call that. It may just be playing for third here.
Right.
Yeah, it seems to be just taking the Ishan 10 for Hakudora.
I can understand just wanting to shut down Dealer, not letting him overtake you
Yeah.
and just securing your third place.
Well, especially if you saw what Dealer had, you do it instantly. Tempai now on the left, but isn't going to take it. Is selling out for Chanta. Now, this is going to be a problem because the one so only has 1 left.
Yeah, looking kind of difficult to complete. I might have just accepted the
I
fact
have
that
definitely just taken the Tempai and
Yeah.
moved on. But then again, I would have played the head way differently because I would have just called the 1-mon and sold out for Dora Donkey. But that's because I'm what you call crazy. Let's see.
Oh.
Dealer is now a very wide Ishan 10.
Yeah, it
You have
doesn't
all that
partner.
overlap. That is a super awkward shape and pin right now.
I guess it's not too much wider. It's just a standard Ryumen, right?
Oh, there's another one. Well, if you're gonna do it, you definitely cut the
Each.
2-3 here.
There's
Dealer is
Tempai.
Tempai, Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao. Waiting on 5-8. So how many are out? All the 5s are out, and 2 of the 8s are
リー
out.
チ
So, oh, and there's a Tempai across the way. Uh-oh. The 8 may come
Yeah,
out.
this feels like it's
Uh-oh.
might deal in here. Takes the Shampoo and dodges it.
Wow, great dodge. Probably took one look at the board and said, wait, there's a 5-mon Kabe. Maybe this is a mistake. Also setting up the potential Nakasuji trap. The 5 pin
Yeah.
could come out here
Although it's not necessarily safe from the
from the
Oyo
dealer.
Ricci.
But the 5-mon is dead. It is only waiting on that 5 pin.
There is still one in the wall. And there it is!
Oh my goodness!
Just Sumo, the final 5
Sometimes
pin.
Just have the flow. Ricci Sumo. No aura, but oh my goodness. I feel a bit disgusted just looking at that.
I would be a bit frustrated if I was dealer and got chased by that just to lose.
Well, regardless, Sembe with a huge win here, 64,000 and the extra bonus Uma from keeping everyone else under 30,000 with a plus 54. X Shy with a minus 5.1, Lociel with a minus 18.3, and Lynx with a minus 30.6. And you see Jocelyn now, who I assume has to be Sembe, is just dominating this division now, sitting over around 150.
Wow, after just 6 games. I'm trying to remember what the highest finish was for the A1 division last season. I think it was probably right around that, wasn't it?
I think it was around 180. because
180.
Huang just stormed through the final. Going into the final session, the top of A1 was like 108.
Yeah,
And then
crazy that,
after the final session, Huang just steamrolled in his table.
and already above that after just 6 games. Crazy impressive start. 4 firsts out of your first 6 games.
And no last at the same time. Well, I think we will have a B1 match coming up soon, but by soon, I'm being told it'll be about 10 minutes. So I think we're going to take a break for now and see you when that game kicks off. Welcome back, everyone. It looks as though our B1 game is now about ready to start. They had some internal scheduling issues, so they rearranged stuff, and here we go. We have four players here: Tucker, Peter, Travis, and Andrew. Of course, you can see from the standings, you have Tucker and Peter who are both in the promotion zone with pretty good scores, and Travis and Andrew are on the other end, both of which with 3/4 out of 6 games, which is always a rough situation. But as always, there is a long way to go.
And actually, you just see the 3/4, but also like 2 firsts for Travis. Minus 40 is definitely something you can recover from this early in the season. And same
Well,
for Andrew as well. Even though minus 76, it's still so early. See if we can start crawling that back now.
plus, you only have 4 demotions out of 20 spots, so you actually have a much bigger buffer than it may feel. Like, it's not going to be like we saw last season in A1, where if you don't hit plus minus 0, you get demoted. You have plenty of space and plenty of time here.
Yeah, and definitely plenty of time to even promote from this score. Long season to
Yes,
go.
with the expansion of basically every division, I believe, next season, here you see 9 promotions coming out of B1. So out of 20 players, that means what's it going to take on average? Maybe a plus 10, plus 15 overall should make it.
Yeah, unless we see some sort of weird scores, you would expect something around there.
And of course, the reason you see some of these players with 5 games and some with sixes, this is a 5 player table. We have Josh sitting out this game. And we're off. Deer starts with a decent hand here. Love to pull in that 6 pin Dora on 3 Monfil in the Penchon on the right. Pretty standard Ricci Pinfu. Tanya, maybe through the Rasanshiku across the way. I don't know. You sell it for Honitsu? Considering the shapes, I probably would. You do have a Dora though, so maybe just go a little more conventional. Aim for the Peiko in Mon. And on the left, we see a Hatsu call. Nice little Onko of 8 Mon and these shapes elsewhere.
Yeah, looks like it could be a quick just even if it is just Yako Hinomi, does have a chance to pick up the Dora if you do complete that 7/8 with the 6 pin. We do see a second Dora picked up by Travis. That makes the hand a little bit nicer. You do have 4 pairs now, so Chito is an option, but could go either way. It could still be a normal hand for sure.
Well, get the cheap end on the right, drawing the 1 pin in. You love to add the Tanyawi Peiko, but you'll accept completing the shape. Setting up now for potentially just Rishi Pinfu, still Rian Shanten, but really good shapes.
Still keeping that Formon around for the lucky draws into Sanshoku as well.
Like that.
There goes the 2-3-4 complete. You would still need a pair, but you could maybe if you draw maybe if you draw 7 or 8, so it's possible. Right now it's looking like it may just be a quick Ricci.
Ooh, that 5's a very interesting situation. You could cut the 2 and maybe accept Dora, or alternatively, you can just throw the 5 and accept the Peiko on either 1 or 4. Or even you could just cut the Formon.
Yeah, a lot of options there. He's gonna keep greeting for that Sanshoku.
Oh, that is a really awkward draw now.
Just gonna Tsumogiri it. We see another pair drawn, so that is Chito Ishan now for Toyman, with the 2 Dora 6 pin as well. Above the
Well, now do you just
Formon,
go
right.
regular hand? You have 2 Dora.
Just gonna stick with the Chito Ishan 10 here.
I mean, you'd love to be able to wait on that pay for the cheat toy, but if you're going to sell it, this is the time you do so. I'm absolutely keeping Shaw there if I am going for the cheat toy.
Right, you've already decided that you want to throw back the Formon, so I'm not sure why you need to keep the 3-2 Ryomen.
Kempai on the left, and there's the deal in for just the 1,000.
1
Is thinking about it for a oh, that is a very aggressive cheat. I think may have just hit the wrong button.
Yeah, I guess this does wait on Dora. It is of course going to be free 10, but not sure you Yeah, maybe a misclick, maybe wanting to greed for an extra Dora. Hard to say. Although now we
Well,
break Tempa, I don't like that.
I gotta say, I don't understand what this play is now. Probably a bit of tilt on top of everything else.
Not sure. It doesn't look like 4-pin's particularly dangerous, so I'm not sure why you break Tempai there.
And a hideous Tempai on the right would be a hell wait for 3-so.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense just to Dama that.
Ooh, dealer now has a pretty nice Ishan 10. And finally, we see the 2-3 being broken across the way. And we see the 7-pin being discarded to accept Dora. And speaking of Dora, there's a draw on the right. Thinks even with the 2-3s and the 5 in the discards, maybe just hoping to go for a Dora Tonki here or pulling another one and go Shampon.
Yeah, probably just thinking it's too risky to cut Dora this late to keep your Tempai.
Well, could go back to that
Yeah,
3-sided 4-10, and there
we
we
got it
are.
back. And there you
Well,
go.
okay.
Oh wait, no,
Just
yeah,
so,
I
well,
mean,
yeah, you
yeah.
just take it.
So we took a long roundabout way, but ended up winning the hand in the end. Picks up,
Yeah,
I guess that you get picked up an extra 100 points for skipping. So there you go.
yeah. It's one of those where everyone's going to look at the log and go, what just happened? But we move into East 2. North is the Dora. You see one here for dealer. Decent shaped otherwise. You can pair up the Dora. You're feeling pretty good out of this hand on the right. A Haku pair and a floating Dora. Now, great shapes. Maybe just plan to go Dora Tonki there. You have too many pairs for that to be the immediate route. Across the way, pretty standard Pinfu hand. And on the left, pretty standard Pinfu hand if you pull in the 3 and 5 mon.
Like to dream about a potential 3 Doko, but we do see the 3-so locked up in player's hand, so we're not going to see that one.
Nice draw there on the 5-so on the left. We'll float the Dora now. Of course, it is your Yakuhai if you're Onwe there. So if you can pair it up, you're thrilled.
Oh, throws back the 1-so. That does lose out on 2-so acceptance.
Yeah, 9-pin's usually a better play there. Well, on the right, starting to develop even possibly toward Cheetoy. But I think that's going to be the end of that with the Hawk. Oh, that is a
Wow.
sellout for Cheetoy. And
And
there's your
also we
pair
see
up
the
on the left for
yeah,
Onwe. That's
big
very
time.
likely to come out of the dealer's hand. Especially now, Tempai with Ipeco.
Oh, breaks
No, wow,
Tempai.
okay.
Doesn't wants to greed that Dora, not willing to take just the Ipeko.
Oh, and there's the 2-so.
It's still a Sanmenchan, so you can hope to draw it back. But fortunate that it would be Furiten if it is your final weight.
Oh,
Oh, could have been Ricci, Tsumo, Ipeko. I
I
guess
might
the
see it
order
come up
might have
here on the
shifted, but
right. Now that shapes are starting to feel, no, cutting the 3 mod. That may just be a fold. Well, okay, there's our pair up on the 4. So I think the 7 mon's a much better discard than the 6 because now you've given up the 5 mon acceptance. Everyone thinking that door is very dangerous, and they're right.
yep. A
Okay,
Tempai
well, just
though,
pull the 4. That's an easy Ichi.
1
No Yaku, good weight. 4-7 has. Oh, there's one of them. The 4-7 had
Each.
5, now has 4.
just gonna see a chasing Ricci here. Gonna push that Dora, but you are dealer, makes sense. And you do actually have. This is, I guess, just Ricci Nomi. Is that
Let's
right?
see. What is it? The
Waiting on
4-7 weight, I guess?
5/8.
No, it'd have to be 5 something.
It's 5 pin, 8 pin,
Yeah,
right?
5-8. If you want on the
Ipeco
5,
on
it'd be
5.
Ipeco. Yeah.
Yeah. With that funny 4 5 5 5 6 6 6 7 7 shape.
Yeah, you look there. It has to be an Intotsu, and it's not.
相撲
Oh, 8
Well,
pin. So you'll take it.
there it
Richie
is.
Sumo.
Keeps the cheap end, and of course, if
Dora 3!
oh,
There you go.
oh, no more Urasan, and there's Peter pulling in a Mongon out of nothing.
Wow. And
He's
there's a
rewarded with
start.
a Yakuai pair. Not great shapes. Everything else is a Kanchan or Penchan, but you're gonna have you just call. On the right, we see the non-called and also a Hatsu ready to get called. You also have a floating Dora on top of everything else. Across the way, pretty standard Pin Fu hand. You'd like to pull in the 5-so Dora, get rid of those 6-so, and on the left, wow, that's a pretty hand.
Yeah, you
Especially when
could.
pulling the Formon. Well, now you're even thinking Cheetoy, and that'd be a really depressing way for that hand to end.
地
And Andrew says enough is enough, goes ahead and calls, figuring the hand's pretty bad closed here, but you're going to end up not necessarily speeding the hand up because you have that 8-7-5, now a 4, allows, eventually I get words out, allows you to get rid of one of those shapes completely. Oh my goodness, look at that on the right. Toy Toy, Dora 2, non Hatsu. This will be Hanemon on either end.
Oh boy.
Now it seems unlikely the 5-so will come out from anyone at any point in this hand because everyone can use it, but 4-pin could come out anytime. Interesting shape there on the left. I think he cut 7, so yeah. That accepts basically anything in lower Mon for Tenpai.
You could have pawned the 2-pin if you really just want to rush to Tenpai there.
We have Dama on the left waiting on 2-3-pin for Tanyao Nomi.
Pretty bad
Oh,
way
there's the Sumo!
Oh boy.
The expensive end, which is worth the exact same as the cheap end, but either way, it's Hanemon, and all of a sudden, that big 42,700 is no longer a big lead. In fact, loses it by 1,400 points.
Yeah, that's what an 18,000 point swing will do for you. You hate to see that as dealer.
And the new dealer here has pretty good shapes. Potentially Ricci, Pinfu, Dora. You do have a 258 in Mon you like to fix, though. On the right, decent shapes. Maybe a distant Honitsu, but with a floating Dora. I think you're just playing a conventional hand. Across the way, pretty standard Pinfu as well. Maybe a distant Junchan, but I don't really see it given the 2-3-4 and the fact that 4-pin floater better than a 1-pin. And on the left, pretty standard Pinfu shape. Maybe a 2-3-4 Zanshiku. That 4-mount massively helps out the dealer's hand here.
It really does. Gives you the additional Ryomen. Can even open this hand for Tanya if you want. If you get like a 4-pin comes out.
Be kind of disgusting. If you get Tanya, Sanchiku, Dora, though, then you might be fine with it. Like, that 2 is a very tempting tile to call for me.
Now that we draw the 1-pin, I think we're just going to try to complete this hand closed here.
Yeah, by passing, you pull on the 1. Now you're definitely going to be closed. You're still looking for a pair, though.
You do have that 3, 4, 5, 6 Nobaton,
Oh
but now
my
you just complete
goodness.
the 7-so Kanchan fill for Headless Ishanten here.
Yeah, you'd love to draw the 6 or 8-pin. And if you draw, say, 3 or 6 Mon, I think you just Dama. Oh, well, that fixes your problem. 6-8 for sure.
You have the Samenton here in Sozu. 3-sided weight.
Including waiting on the door, although we know the door is dead.
You do also see Ishanten for Kamicha here. Could maybe chase down dealer here. Although you do have that 2/4 Kanshan, which is a little bit difficult to complete. Oh, just throws back the 6, so probably would have just thrown the 6 pin.
Definitely would have cut the 6 pin. That's actually a bunch of efficiency lost
Yeah.
because you would be able to take Tempai with a 9 mon, a 6 mon, or I think
Each.
even like a 3 discard.
You also
Or
lose
draw, rather.
4 mon, 5 mon also would have been Tenpai.
Yeah. Yeah, this should be Tempai reaching on the 2 with that 6 in the hand. It would be Ricci, Pinfu, Dora. Of course, that happens, and what's the first saw to come out? The 6 mon across the way.
Right.
Bit of an unfortunate backfire there, but
Still a strong Yushan 10 if you can draw your right tile here.
yeah, and there are a lot of them still.
Each.
We're going to see a chase Ricci. Dominated a
Each.
couple turns, decides just to Ricci. And now we also see a Ricci from dealer.
Interesting throwing the 3 instead of the 2 there. Given all the 9 oh wait, and 4e10 of course. Oh, there's the 3 though. We'll deal in on the left for Ricci Dora.
And
And
an
an
Ura.
Aura 52. That's rough. Especially consider where that hand could have been with the Ricci Apatsu Pinfu Dora. The efficiency mistake ended up being a huge backfire. I moved to East 4.
A pretty big swing there.
Dora has a pretty good shape here. Potential Ricci, Pinfu, Ipeco, Dora 2. Lots of value on the right. Hatsu pair, maybe a 4, 5, 6 Sanshku. Across the way, a Tone pair, maybe Honitsu. In fact, the more I look at the hand, the more I think Honitsu. Depends your next couple draws, of course. And on the left, a floating Dora, pretty good shapes, but you need something to connect to the Dora. And the problem is anything that connects to it other than another 1 pin is probably going to overlap with that 4, 5.
Well, there's the
Well,
1 pin.
that fixes that problem.
Another pair drawn, so he's going to cut the 9 mon. You do have 4 pairs here. Could maybe turn into a Chitoi, although a normal hand still probably looks faster.
Well, I think the big question is where are the Hatsu? Because that seems to be the slow point of this hand right now. Well, okay, now you can upgrade to the possible Ipeco, cutting 4, 6 here.
There you go.
I mean, you'd love to use Hatsu as a draw another one and go for the Ricci Ipeco Hatsu, but if it comes, I think you just call for Tempai anyway. Well, that is a really awkward shape. Now you have 3 pairs.
Yeah, it's not too useful to have the 8 pin, but it's still probably better than that floating 6-0, which wasn't doing much for you.
Well, across the way, that hand is very interesting. And kind of wondering where the Chun or Tone are for the Honitsu double Yakuhai, but hasn't drawn a single Mon tile since the start of the hand, which I know is frustrating. Well,
Okay,
now you jump to 2. Yeah, now you have some options.
we do see a 5th pair drawn for Kamicho here. So it's
Dealer
gonna.
makes it. Oh no, dealer could have just taken the Tanyao, maybe opened the hand. Didn't want to throw the Dora though.
Right.
No, I think I just yeeted the Dora into it. Say, forget
Yeah.
this. This hand is slow. Speaking of yeeting Dora, we might see it here, and it is.
There it is.
There's a 7. I think that's a mistake. I'm definitely cutting 4 there.
Yeah, go for the Honitsu. 8 mon only once cut from your perspective.
Boom.
Looks not like a bad weight. Does get the
Yeah,
Strumpon though.
Yeah, you'd be Tempai on the 8 mon, which would be a perfectly fine hand here. As it is, you're calling and aiming for the 1,000 or on the expensive end 2,000, but Tone is likely to get held. And see, now you could be on Champon with the 7 and the tone.
Yep.
Possible Sun Onko developing on the left. And we have a Dama. I
Each.
missed it earlier. Dama on the right, and now a Sumogiri Ricci. I always hate those, but
Wait one turn.
oh, that's such an unfortunate draw. The tone. It's live, and you probably I like throwing the 7 for now. It is Kabe. And this is also an issue for the dealer here. Is if you throw the 1 early, you can pull that and cut the 1 so here and take your Tempai waiting on Gimbutsu 7 mod.
Swaps to the 5 so Gembutsu wait here. With the 2-5 Drillman.
Pom.
Well, now I think just call and throw the other 4.
I might have just stuck with my Gembutsu wait.
Now the
It's late in
4
the
is now
round.
Kabe to the dealer, but no one else knows that. Well, now I think he's jammed the 3.
Each.
Wait on the Gembutsu 8 mod seems perfectly fine with me.
There's the Hatsu drawn.
1 so I'm not messing around with this. Ooh, and
7
there's a
so also
1
safe.
mod upgrade. 3 so now Toyman is now Tempai on 1-4, I believe. But 3 players Tempai. And we move to South round. Dealer has 3 pairs, floating Dora. I guess not really floating, it's part of a Benchon. You're kind of deciding whether you want to go Cheat Toy or even Tanya, Weipeko, all sorts of options here. Just a normal hand though with that 7 so draw. Interesting cutting the 1 so, saying I have 2 Benchon, I'm getting rid of 1. I'd have probably just gotten rid of the Tune for now. On the right, we have the double South paired up and another couple pairs. But I think you're just going to call and go, especially considering your lead in first place. Across the way, that 3 so really helps. You have a Shaw pair, which you can call as a Yakuhai, and a floating Dora on the left. A Dora Penchon, another one rather, and decent shapes elsewhere. Getting rid of the 7 so on the right, just going for the toy upgrade potentially down the road.
Yeah, it also just kind of looks like your weakest block, but there was the 8 so. Bit of an unfortunate
there's your
backfire.
Well, this is always a problem. You have all these middle pairs, is they're not as good as they seem. They just never are.
Right. Oh man. All
I
the
think
backfires.
even that one you could have got the 9 so and accepted the 5.
I think I would have.
Chi.
Well, you definitely called that one. And see, you look at this, and it's like it should be perfect Ishanten, and it's not even close. Actually, I guess it should be Tempai, but okay. Well, there you go. If you get the 4 so thrown into you,
Each.
then that's perfect. And we have Tempai across the way. This will be Ricci Dora waiting on 2 pin. There's only 1 left in the wall.
We do see a 5th pair drawn, although not going to keep the Chito Shanten, just going to cut the 9 so.
Yeah, you could cut the 8 so and go a little more aggressively for it. And if you're Peter on the right, it's not like you can fold here. Now, if you draw a Dora, maybe you just try and fold, but anything else, you're just going to jam.
It looks like
Oh, that 3 is a
Oh.
scary tile, but pushes it and is rewarded immediately with 2,000 and the Ricci stick and the previous round's Ricci sticks. So that 2,300 turns into a 5,300.
pretty nice pickup. Puts him above 50,000 here.
Now Peter in very good position, and now dealer in South 2 has 4 pairs. You're thinking, do I go Toy? And the answer is not anymore. You're not even thinking about it now. It's Chi Toy, and there's no value in the Toy. So
Right.
sit here and wait. And these are all really good waiting tiles for Chi Toy. the 9 with 2 8 blockers, and of course, a 1-cut Yaku High as your other two options. On the right, pretty standard Tanyao shape. You'd love to pull it in something else like the 3-pin, but I believe that, oh my goodness, what happened across the way? That is
Did-
a Ricci Pinfu waiting on 4-7 Mon. And the hand on the left is Ishan 10 as well, I think. No, not quite. Now it's Ishan 10. It's a really, really wide Ishan 10.
A lot of fast hands here. We did see
Yeet.
Dealer decides not to push there. Oh man, another Ricci. Wow, this round is really picking up speed here.
Yeah, waiting on the 3-pin. There are 3 of those left in the wall. The 4-7 still has 4
We see a
left in the
Dama
wall.
Senpai of Formon here for Tanya
Yeah, and that
Nomi.
4 would deal in. And there's one of those 3s we talked about. Dealer says, I've had enough of this. I'm in first place. I'm not going to
This might be a Chase Ricci that deals in.
I think you have to. Especially with the 1 having come out. It's just 1 Suji against both. And like, what else are you going to throw? You're going to hard fold with the 4-so?
Yeah, there it is.
Wrong.
Will just be Ricci Pinfu, but will there be any Ura? No, so it's just 2,000, and you're not thrilled, but that could have been a lot worse.
Right.
Dealer here has a bunch of pairs.
Yeah, also has a Tanya chance though, so could maybe start calling for that.
I like the Tanya Sun Anko, though. I don't think I want to call unless I have to. But the hand on the right also has a few pairs, but that hand is significantly worse. It's hard to really see anything connecting. Across the way, decent shapes.
Yeah,
Pretty good shapes. There's not much value.
Right. Could
Now,
be
on
quick
the
though.
left could be a lot of value, especially that floating door if that pairs up. And if it doesn't, you're still looking at a potential 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku.
Whoa, here comes the
you
Sanonko.
Dama. You absolutely Dama this. Yeah.
Sanonko Toy Toy.
When even Korak's yelling at you to Dama, you know it's the right play. Toy
Now-
Toy Sanonko, but the
now, would you
improvements are
pawn-
ridiculous.
Would you pawn 6-so if you have the chance? You could
No,
go to Toy
absolutely
Toy.
not.
Gonna stick with the Dama.
Well, so look at the hand. It's already 9,600 closed.
Yeah.
So I'm not messing around. Well, now you have your choice, and this is why.
That is why. Or
Oh
you see
my
Dama or
goodness.
Ricci, you're gonna see Dama.
Dama
So-
waiting on 2-6. There's one of each left in the wall for potential Yakuman.
Oh boy.
And everyone else at the table has no idea. Now, normally you Ricci a hand like this specifically because you want everyone else folding.
Yeah. It would
The
also bump the
general
value
rule-
up to Hanuman on roll as well.
Yeah, the general rule on Suanko Tempai like this is if Dama is already Hanemon, you want to Dama it. Otherwise, you want to Ricci simply to chase everyone off and then potentially punish them if they dare chase you.
There's something to be said about just Dama and trying to collect the 12,000 as dealer. That would be quite valuable here.
Well, when I'm sitting looking at someone at 50,100, I'm definitely saying I have a chance for Yakuman, and that's good enough.
You would take Roland though, right?
I'd take it. I'd be a little disgusted, but that's the advantage of Ricci is then I take Ronan and Tanemon and I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Still 2 on the wall.
When you see dealer just fearlessly Tsubogiri Dora without even a second thought, I wonder if that scares you at all, although
Well, now
not
we
sure
see
how
a
you can read
potential
this Dama Senpai.
Sanshuku on the right. It'd be very hard to use those shapes, though. And of course, we know good luck with that 2-so coming out from dealer. Chi on the left for what will be Tanyao only
Yeet.
if you get to Tempai. And there's a Ricci across the way.
I wonder if we're gonna see a chasing Ricci from dealer.
That is a 3-sided 147 weight.
Continues the Dama.
The 1 is completely dead. The 4 has 2 out, and the 7 has 2 out. So the 3-sided weight actually has the advantage right now, but not in terms of value. Would be Ricci Dora,
Gee.
right? Ricci Dora 2 right now.
It used to be quick Tanya on the left also, just try to end it all.
Yeah, tempo waiting on 5. There's the Sumo Sudoku!
Dealer Suwanko! 16,000 all, and that puts him straight into commanding firsts. Wow.
Wow. Everyone else at the table is just going, what just happened? And you go back to that log. When your temp fire for Suwanko was that turn 5, turn 6, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if you're at this table, you have to shake it off. You have a fight for 3rd place. And of course, you have Peter trying to stay above 30K. So this game is not over. Dealer here with a Yakuhai pair. I think you're just going to call and go because their issue shapes aren't great. On the right, we have 3 pairs, decent shapes, but not good ones there either. Across the way, kind of the same problem. You have a bunch of overlap with the 6779 and 4668. And on the left, potential 234 Sonshoku, but again, just the shapes aren't quite right.
I see a Kanchan fill there with the 7, so that helps.
Well, now dealer's hand's looking significantly better, especially you can later palm the 9 pin, but you don't want that to be your first call. That's always the problem. But if the last one comes out, I think you just have to call it regardless.
Yeah. Well, you have another pair now.
I'd cut 8, so ooh, I don't like that. Okay, so there is only 1 left on the wall, and that is the thinking. But you give up Chitoi here, you give up your Yakuhai call, and it's not like the 9 pin does much for you. I like the
could've-
south as safe tiles, if nothing else.
Not too much advantage of keeping the 9 pins over the south.
I see a Dora drawn on the left and just thrown, waiting for the last Haku. On the right, that hand is building towards a possible Itsu. Ricci Pinfu Itsu. We'll need the 8 or 9 and the 3 or 6. And across the way, what looks to be the best hand, that is Ishanten for Ricci Pinfu. Wait, no, that's not Ishanten, because that's a 776, not a 765. So, yeah, everyone's kind of stuck then. There's a 5 drawn on the right. Now I think you just go Sonshoku. Yeah, and that seems to be the play. That will be potentially Ricci Pinfu Sonshoku, Ishanten now. Now you see the 7 mon across the way, and now you have that Ishanten for what would be Tanyao if called, or even Ricci Tanyao. Well, he threw 1. Oh. Oh, no.
Oh, what happened
Oh,
there? What
the
was...
1. No. You're giving up your Sonshoku when you do that. I think that's just a mistake.
Yeah. We're gonna see that Ricci for that Tanyo.
Waiting on 5-8. Of course, see 3 8-pin discarded, then 3 5-pin in hand, so 2 left on the wall.
Can't be too picky when you're in last place in South 3, though. Just gotta hope to find one of those remaining 5-pin, or even the last 8-pin.
Interesting cutting the 9-pin there instead of the 8 so Genbutsu.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on the right, now the 1 doesn't look nearly as bad. Drawing back into Ishant and adding Tanya on top of everything. With that 4-pin draw.
Sumo.
But there's the Sumo Ricci Sumo Tanyao.
And makes it
the Aura,
Mongon.
and that's going to push all the way to Mongon, and Ennui will be in 3rd place. Distant 3rd place, but 3rd place moving it all last. Dealer has a pretty good starting hand, though.
Try to crawl back into third here.
Pom.
See what Andrew can do with their last dealership.
Anway calls the double Yakuhai, which makes a lot of sense, but Dealer is looking to pull the tune in. Sanjiku doesn't look like it's going to happen, but this is a pretty good starting hand for Dealer. Across the way, I don't know, just Chanta. I didn't really see anything else for that hand.
It's our
And on the
Kokushi.
left, I never feel good about Kokushi when I have an Onko, especially when I see one of the tiles I don't have getting called.
Yeah.
But anyway, on the right, now looking for the Peiko 789 in pin, trying to figure out what else to do. Does cut the shape using the Dora, though. Eight, so I'd call it. Now, his hand's going nowhere any other way.
Well, it is kind of awkward because like your other pair is like the Formon, which you already have 3/4/4, so you do kind of lose a
Well,
random of the call.
you have the option of going for Tanya based on your draws later and just cutting Chun Chun. If you decide you're not going to use the Dora itself. And if you do call something with the Dora, then you shut everyone else down anyway. Yeah, throwing the Hawklight is not a Kokushi attempt. That seems to be selling out for the Chanta.
Pom.
And there's the call on the Formon instead. Especially here, if you draw a 3 or 4 pin, you can just cut the 8/9 and potentially cut the Chuns later.
If you draw 3/4, and you also have the option of Toy Toy as well.
We see the Chanta call across the way. Still a decent distance off, though. Especially needing that Dora is always rough. No, that's an easy chi for me. Do you even pwn it? That's the only question I'd have. Okay, passes on both ends.
Well, it doesn't change the Shanten, right? You want to go Tanya with the chi? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, give myself an option later, even if the Chun is being locked up, because I see a really weird play across the way. I think there's a pretty good chance the Chun is locked up.
Sure.
Well, that seems like a... Oh, passes the 3. Want to use that 1 as a pair.
Beach.
Oh, there's Senpai on the left for
Oh, draws the Ipeiko.
That's the perfect draw there. 71,400 with a Yakuman isn't good enough. Looking for more here.
Might as well. You're not really in any risk of your
Senpai on the
position
right.
changing.
Waiting on the 4/7 pin. I'm just getting rid of the Chun at this point. But anyway, so what's the 2/5 has 6 left? Wow. And the 4/7 has 2 left. And there's one of those winning tiles. And there's the Sumo.
Sumo.
So picks up another win here right at the end. Richie Ipeiko Tsumo.
Or 2 would knock another person under 30K. You get the bonus UMA, but just the 5,200. You say just 77,600. I think most people will take that.
Yeah, that's not a bad day.
And you have Travis with the dealer Yakuman. That is a spread there, 62.6. You have Peter with a 5.7, barely holding on, but does stay above 30,000. Tucker with minus 26.6, and Andrew with the minus 41.7. But I think nothing else matters relative to the dealer Yakuman. Tends to happen when that situation occurs.
Turns out winning 48,000 points is pretty good.
All right. Well, I think we're about to switch over to some A1. Yeah, go to A11 with, I believe this is the Bishan table, who is currently leading the A1 division. And game should be in progress as soon as we can get that pulled up. Or in South 2, we see Light Pink Yoshi or Max in first place. Well, no, in second place by 100. Nathaniel in first by that exact 100. But a really close game here. As we're in South 2, Dio has potential Sanchoku with the 789. On the right, pretty standard Pinfu shape. She's also floating South Dora across the way. Floating South Dora, probably Pinfu shape there as well. Maybe 678 Sanchoku. And on the left, another floating South Dora. I'm noticing a theme here. Possible Itsu and Mon, but probably just a regular hand. And
Looks
a
like
cut on the right from Nathaniel. Maybe he's going for the Honitsu here.
yeah, just getting rid of that 8-9 pinch on early here.
Well, Max is starting to fill in this Sanchoku. We'll see if he has as big a Sanchoku view as I do. I'd have just cut the 6 already.
Yeah, still keeping that potential 5-mon draw as an option, but definitely keeping
Well,
that 9-mon around for the Sanchoku as long as possible.
you also don't have a pair yet, so that has to be part of your consideration. There's a 7. I'm definitely calling that from that shape for Nathaniel. The interesting situation is the 9-so, 3-so in your discards make this hand really awkward to use.
It kind of does. You wish you could take those back for sure.
There's a 5, and that'll move Oliver's hand a little bit better. Also going for a Chinitsu.
Well, that 2-pin draw changes the Honitsu ideas. I imagine that it's going to be kept.
Oh, I do not like the 9-so throw there. I'm definitely going Itsu, throwing Haku and maybe even Tone later.
You're also missing a pair, so by doing this, you get rid of that really strong 5-5-5, 6-7-8-9 shape.
You can tell Max is getting a little scared to throw that 3-mon now.
It does look like it could be a Honitsu from Oliver here.
Yeah, that 4 is definitely a defensive discard. Just figures pin tiles are safe and everything else is scary.
Yep.
And punished immediately for it. Well, there's your pair up of the 3s. But if you're not throwing the 3, you're probably not throwing the 6 either.
Yeah, a little lit at this point too, with only 5 tiles left.
I think this is going to be no one tempi at the end of all this. The thing is, that's often what happens with Chinitsu is the one person everyone's scared of may not be as close as you think they are.
Right. It's one of the advantages of just making a bunch of calls, scaring off the table. Even if your hand isn't all that good, they don't necessarily know that.
Move to South 3. Dealer has a couple pairs, but really not that much. A couple Yakuhai as well. Gets rid of the South. 3 pairs. I mean, maybe Tanyao, but I think just a regular hand on the right. Pretty standard Pinfu type shape. You do have the 2-5-8, so you want to get rid of at least one of those, if not 2. Across the way, I don't know, maybe Itsu and Pin. Shapes are kind of hard to use. You don't have any Mon tiles in the hand after cutting that 1. On the right, we see a 2-so call. It's actually going to be a Tanyao hand. Would I like the 7-mon Dora to add to it? But a 1,000 point hand will put you in first going into all last, so can't complain about that.
Did call from like a really strong shape of like the Sozu and Totsu. Might have been a little more patient on picky if what I open my hand, but just trying to go for as fast as possible here.
Dealer Chitoi Ishanten. Oh my goodness, look at that on the left. Headless Ishanten. You have the. Oh, I do not like the 4. I want to get rid of that 8-7 because of the potential Fury 10. Tempai now for Dealer, waiting on 4-so. Decided to Dama, looking for a weight upgrade. Don't really want the 8-mon as your weight, considering you're trying to exit the Dora. That 8 pin might be worth it though. Oh, I'm definitely switching it. I'm surprised that it's not kept. I could see the Dama, but I do not like this Forza weight. Well, now you have
Maybe,
Dora.
Eat.
Now it doesn't even matter.
yeah, just Ricci. And we do still see 2 7-mon left in the wall here.
Well, Tempai on the right, if you push the 2-mon, would just be waiting on the 4 pin for Sanshoku Dora. Instead, seems to be folding.
Doesn't think it's worth it.
And of course, you take the Tempai last turn. Yeah, you'd have to push that 3 here as well, but that's at least Suji. Now, yeah, Bishan definitely looks to be just hard folding here. We do have Tempai, but that is Furi 10, and I don't know that Max realized it yet.
Definitely realizes it now.
Yeah, you see the pause here. I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee, but I will say it is very likely that was the oh.
Well, 9-so is also a bit of a risky tile to push. Not necessarily safe from the reach. Oh
Matter,
boy,
dealer
7-mon
assume
sumo.
at least a dealer Hanemon doesn't get the Baimon, but that will put Nathaniel over 50,000.
And that breaks the game wide open.
Wow. And dealer is rewarded with another pretty good starting hand here. Could pull in the 6-0
Boom.
Dora and have a really good hand. On the right, pretty standard Pinfu shape. Across the way, maybe Itsu in pin, pretty standard Pinfu as well. On the left, we see a pay call and a floating Dora, so pretty good starting hand as well. And fix the issue in Twitch chat. The Nightbot is set to ultra paranoid, and so there's the link.
Dealer's hand looking really scary here. Just needs to find one more block in addition to that Sun and Shan you have.
Now you're looking for a pair on the right, and there it is. Oh wait, no, wasn't looking for a pair because you have the 1-mon already. Although that's a really sneaky wait if you end up on that 1-mon because of the early 2 and then 5.
Chi.
There's a 7. That seems like an easy call. It is taken, and that is now also a headless Ishunten. Dealer gets a great pull in with that 7.
Chi.
And there's Tempai on the left, waiting on 7 so. Of course, we can see 3 of them in the dealer's hand, and I don't think they're ever coming out.
That depends on the draws because you do have like the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Sun Shan. If you cut the 7 bet, we're just gonna cut the 9-so. So that does kind of lock it in, going for this Tanyo.
Well, and you're at turn 9, and your shapes aren't great. Although you're feeling a little bit of regret now because you'd love the Itsu if you'd have kept that 9. Then you just
Yeah.
call and go that direction. But you're a little worried on the left that that's Onitsu.
Chi.
There
think
is
I
our
might-
Tempai on the right. Takes the Ricci, waiting on 5 pin only. I think I definitely prefer the Shampon, but... Ooh, Chinitsu!
Here we go.
Oh, and there's the 5,
No.
and I will deal into the Ricci Dora. Thought it was Ricci, no, it's Ricci Dora. And the Aura, and that's a huge swing. Pushes Bishan into second place. And now there's a 1,000-point split between third and fourth, going it all last. Dealer has a Yakuhai pair and a Dora acceptance shape. Pretty decent starting hand here. Not great, but pretty good. On the right, great starting hand, especially pulling a 3-so.
Boom.
Ooh, now you even have your pair that is already Ishunten. Across the way, I'm just thinking, I don't even look at the shape. I just say
Yeah.
that's Shinitsu and not worry about
If
it.
you have that many Mon tiles, like they can't be bad.
Chi.
G. And yeah, there's the G immediately. On the left, now upgrades to perfect Ishunten, just going for the quick 1,000-point hand. I mean, that's the right play for sure. Casual Dora discard, but now Tempai on the left waiting on 8-5 pin. There are 5 left in the wall, but a decent chance one comes out from the dealer.
You see Ishan 10 from Max. The one mon could be a decent Tonki. We still do see 3 in the wall.
And
Oh, sorry,
dealer is
2
now
in the wall.
Ishan 10 for a potential. Oh, no, that's going to be
Yeah,
it.
that'll end it.
And that deal in will
and it
push
drops to
Max
4th.
to 4th place. Oh, that's a really rough situation. Nathaniel with that Hanemon Sumo taking control of this table and ending up pushing everyone else under 30K. So it's a bonus full 20 Uma and ends up with a plus 42.3. Bishan escaped with second with minus 2.4. Oliver at minus 14.9. And Max with that unfortunate deal in South 4 with minus 25. Well, that's 2 games in a row. Late in the South round, Dealers hits a big hand and everyone else kind of scrambles.
Right. Yeah, that was a clutch Shitoi on the Nathaniel's dealership there. And huge win there, plus 42. Puts them all the way up to plus 34 in the standings there.
Yeah, in much better position. And you have Max creeping down towards me and closer to the demotion zone, but still has 3 games left in this session. And once the next one kicks off, we will be there for it. And it looks like it started 1 minute ago. So 15 till is when the game is projected to start. So we'll take a couple minutes and get some water and suggest you do the same. And we're back and should be shifting the game shortly. It'll start in less than a minute. But all of a sudden, Bishan still dominant over the league, managing to escape with that second is almost In fact, I'd say it's probably a bigger story even than Nathaniel hitting that dealer Hanemon to close the game out. You still have such a huge split, but that pulls Nathaniel out of the negatives and puts him in a much more comfortable position.
Yeah, Beechen, I imagine will be pleased with that second place, even if didn't really change their standing too much. It was like a negative second place. Still take it though.
But still, like -2 compared to what was looking like a -25, which is ultimately what Max got. You'll take that anytime.
Yeah, Mac's gonna be trying to get some points back here in this next Hanchan here. Probably, I'm sure, quite disappointed if that deal in on the end. That's always a tough feeling when you deal in to put yourself in fourth. Although I'm not sure there was anything they really could have done about it.
No, he's sitting there with Tempai and all last with 3 calls. It's not like you can defend. But we move on to the game here. We have Nathaniel as first dealer. Chun is Dora. Dealer here has, I don't know, Chanta? Maybe a Chanta Sanjuku shift. Not really liking the hand that much on the right. That is already Ishan 10, an ugly Ishan 10, but not much value either. Across the way, a Penchon in So, maybe an Itsu in Pin is probably your best value. And on the left, by far the best hand, but not even a particularly good one unless the Chun pairs up.
We
You
did
just call
see
for Tanya.
we did see
Yeah,
a
Tempai
Tempai
on the right.
draw and actually decided not to Ricci or to break the Tempai. I
Oh,
feel like
oh, no, 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 don't throw the one. No. I really want the Sanshku there, even with the 6. And oh
oh
no, that
my
should have
goodness.
I think that hand was just played completely wrong. I think that should have ended up being in a Patsumo Sanjuku. If you're not going to take the Ricci, don't take the Tempai. Is one of
Yeah,
my
look at
big pet
all these
peeves.
Monzi backfire draws. I think you
Oh,
have to
that's painful to
immediately
watch.
Ricci or break the Tempai with 5-7 pin.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're just getting super greedy and thinking Chanta, you can always just cut the 5 pin instead of the 7. But if you're not going to take the Tempai, don't take the Ricci. This is something that even Ricci Book 1 covers extensively. And this is an A1, so Beechin definitely knows what he's doing, but I still think that was just a mistake.
And now because of this, it is giving the rest of the table time to develop their hands. We see
Chi.
actually a Dama Tempai. Is that Dama Tempai? Yeah, Dama Tempai
Yeah,
for
Dama
E2.
waiting on the 5 for Itsu only. And that's
How did
another. I
this?
don't see what the point of the
Yeet.
Dama here is
Yeah,
either.
wait one turn, Ricci.
Yeah, well, it's a Karagiri Ricci, so it's not quite as awkward, but and yeah, you're just going to see dealers say, "Well, I was kind of considering pushing, but not anymore. Forget this." But yeah, Vishin's out of here. Like, if you can connect to something later, then
Oh,
sure.
we
But
got a Suji trap now.
yeah,
With that
waiting on
2
that
pin.
5, it is Nakasuj. You could very well come out, maybe even like right here if the two comes out first. But that 5 would be
Chun is
very
also
dangerous
one to
for
cut.
Vishin's hand.
You have one. You guys, you do have a couple safe tiles. You have like 1 pin Suji.
Yeah. Now the 4 is safe, so you're getting there. You may manage to make it to the end. 2, yeah, looking a lot better now.
There is still 2 5 pin in the wall though. So definitely Oliver could just sumo this.
3 5 pin in the wall. Well, now 2. You're right. Ooh, does dealer just call it and throw a tune? I probably would.
Pom.
Just do not throw the 5. Throws the 3. Interesting. 1, 2, 3. No, that's not safe at all. That's a very aggressive play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like 1 mon, right? Or something. I don't know.
It's just decided the tune is a death tile. If the 2 comes in any way, shape, or form, I think Nathaniel deals in. Just seems to have decided the tune is too dangerous to push here. But won't get punished for it. We will have 1 player Tempai. And how many 2 5s were dead walled? Ouch.
Yeah.
Udisu, oh my goodness. That's just illegal.
We got to see a double Ricci. Wait,
Well,
was that each on 10? I didn't.
no, I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, still
definitely
on
not on the
Shanten.
left. 3 on Shanten, but Deal is looking to call here for triple Yakuhai. That'd be 7,700 immediately just because of the Onko as well. On the right, decent hand. Maybe Itsu in pin, but just nothing compared to the dealer. Across the way, pretty good Pinfu hand, Yakuai pair, but again, nothing compared to the dealer. There's going to be a call. Oh, not called. That's a decision by Max. Figures this hand needs a little bit more value than even keeping Chitoi open. I'd have just called that, but
Door
I'm.
pickup.
Oh my goodness, look at that! And now you're definitely thinking Chitoi for Max. And on the left, Nathaniel, again, good shapes, just not quite good enough, I don't think. The big question is where's the tone? Could cut 6-0, 6-0 and go for Chanta. The more I think about it, the more I like that play a lot.
Senpai for Nathaniel here. Just gonna immediately Ricci.
Yeah, says forget this. I don't know that there's any danger on the table. I'll just take my Ricci Pinfu like normal. And there are now 4 left in the wall.
Do see Bichan is gonna push this hand forward, which I would expect when you have such a nice hand as dealer. But we see the 7-pin sumo to shut it down.
Ricci, Sumo, Pinfu. No aura, and will take 2,700. Has no idea how fortunate he is.
Yes.
You can look back at that log or even at the clips and go, wow. But the tone were very much dead wall. They were deep in the wall. We didn't see either of them, which was the linchpin for that hand to come together. Deer here has a pretty good Tanyao hand. On the right, a bunch of pairs, including Yakuhai Tone and a floating Dora. Across the way, pretty standard Pinfu, not too much value yet. And on the left, pretty standard Pinfu. Do you have a couple extra pairs or too many floaters? Dealer almost keeping the Chitoi option open at this point. Well, now it really looks like Tanyao.
Yep.
Possible Sun Anko even now.
Oh boy. There's a
Definitely
form on
feeling
draw.
like Sun Anko.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
no.
Are we gonna see
Oh,
another
don't do it,
Suanko
Jamal.
Senpai?
This,
Here
no,
we
cannot happen.
Ishanten, excuse me.
No, cannot happen. Nathaniel has both the 2s and both the 7s. So will not be Suanko unless there's some sort of shift.
We could maybe see that 2-pin being discarded though from Nathaniel, especially if they draw the 3-pin.
Yeah, it could deal into a monster.
Yeah, we're gonna
Toy
see a pawn here.
Yeah, you just take this for sure. Toy, Tanyao, and Sumo as Sananko. Waiting on 7-pin 3. So, of course, we know the 7-pin is locked up, but that could easily change. Even right here, it could change. That 8-pin would be a very bad draw for Nathaniel.
Yep. Especially, it's not even that dangerous looking with it being Suji against the dealer pawn. Although with that 9-pin cut, that does lock the 7-pin
It's
pair
going to
in.
save a lot of trouble. And yeah, sitting on 3 of the 4 outs for Oliver here.
We do see a bit of a defensive penchant cut from Nathaniel, scared of that middle 5-mon against the dealer who's opened their hand.
May not even be scared of the dealer, maybe scared of Max here.
That too, yeah. It's just scary in general.
There's an 8, now Ishan 10, and there's the last 3, so I can't imagine that's coming out.
No.
That seven's
Gee.
definitely going to get called for the Itsu. Waiting on 3-mon now for Tone Itsu. And there are still 2 3-mon in the wall, so it's not a bad wait. And we see a fold there from Nathaniel.
Yeah, just not really able to get that hand to Tempai this late.
Well, sees that late shot to Dashi and says, well, I'm not going to be able to throw the 1, so I'm out of here. If you feel you can't throw the 1 or the 2, then there's no reason to push.
Thinking about a pawn just to skip your draw here?
That'd be the only reason.
We do see it.
And it says, well, I don't have to think about this. Let's throw the 1 myself then. And 2 players Tempai, and everyone at the table goes, I thought Max was the expensive hand. Oops. And dealer here has a bunch of pairs. This definitely feels like a Chitoy hand. Maybe a Chanta if you can pull in the 1-pin or 3-mon. On the right, yuck. Kokushi? No, too many mid tiles. You might float the option for a while, though. Across the way, pretty standard Pinfu shape. On the left, pretty standard Pinfu. Feels a long way off, though. Now you have a Haku pair. You just call and go.
We did see Max just cutting those middle pins, so maybe he is going to play with the idea of that Kokushi. It is at least a hand that's easy to fold, and the hand's not looking great.
Well, you're kind of floating your option because you're fine with Honitsu as well, which is
Sure.
definitely how this hand is working. That's the advantage when you have a bunch of those single Yakuhai honors that builds towards Chanta a lot, it builds towards Honitsu, and you can still keep the Kokushin if you get really lucky.
Definitely looking like a Manzu Honitsu is a possibility here, though, with these draws.
Ooh, that's an interesting draw here. With the 1-mon, now you can even consider cutting and going for Chanta depending on what happens. I'm definitely selling out for Chanta now, yeah. The question is, do you call the 1-pin or 9-so? You'd love to keep this closed.
I like calling 9-so because it's actually a fruity 10 Ryumen if that turned 1 9-so cut.
Ah, it's true. And it's kind of dying at this point.
We do see a Chitoy. Is that still Ishan 10?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 floating tiles. That's going to be Ishunt. And there's a Pone across the way. Going to be very awkward, though, considering the 7-8 will have to be cut from it. And you're still Otozuke on the 4-so. Well, there's your
here's
Tempai.
It's going to reach you the fruity 10 Ryumen.
Yeah, Furi Tenrichi. There is 1 9-so left, which is the expensive end. For the
And
6-so, there are 3 left.
you got to be kicking yourself for that early 9-so here. This hand.
Yeah,
quite
it's
nice.
kind of tragic. And Nathaniel says, I'm just going to get out of here. And Max says, well, if you're going to let me push, I'll do so. And that's the other thing. You have, oh, and there's the 9-so. It always hurts to see it.
Yep.
And the 6 because it's now a Nakasuji. And that's actually something that I deal with beginners a lot is, why does Suji work? Well, it works like this. If
Yes.
somehow the 9 is in the discards, the 3 is in the discards, that even if they are waiting on it, it doesn't matter.
Suji would be a whole lot less reliable if fruity 10 wasn't in the game.
Is that a Tempai? I don't think so. Oh, it is.
It
Yeah,
is
it's waiting
Tempai
on
2
2.
mon.
Yeah, waiting on the 2. You can use the 5 as a pair, a 3-4-5, and a 1-3. And another 6. And you're just
Yep.
dying inside if you're all over. June is safe, but seems to definitely be sticking on the 6. And there's a 2
on.
Dora 2.
Oh boy.
That is a punishment.
Yeah. And Max picks up a big win there, moving themselves into first place.
Yeah, Max takes one look at it and goes, "Thank you. That's not what I expected to happen there."
And
as
opens up a
reward,
nice hand here.
to Dora could go for Tanya. Would need to pull something close to that 5-pin. But, oh wow, this is looking better and better. On the right, decent shape. You have too many floating honors though. Across the way, a Haku call, decent shapes as well, and a Dora. And on the left, a Tone pair and a bunch of floaters there as well.
Another great draw for Max here with that 8-mon.
Pon.
Bit unfortunate you can't use that 6 now for
Gee.
Max. This is going to be a very hard hand to complete. And you have to just call the 6 for sure.
Yep.
But the 2-5-8 is looking terrible now. And she could have even pawned the 9-so there and gone for the Honitsu.
That would have been an option.
Ooh, that's going to be unfortunate. Wait, no, it's not. If you draw the 2 or the 3, it's going to feel pretty good.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's going to be really bad.
Tempa here.
Oh,
gonna
are you going to
probably
wait on the
just
hideous? No, that'd be
Oh.
40-10.
What? You could have just taken a Tonki 5-pin.
Yeah, would have to throw the Dora. If you take the 1-4 weight, it would be 40-10 waiting on the Dora.
I feel like I would have taken one of the Tempas.
Yeah, I think I would too, and we can tell what's going to happen here. Is something's eventually going to connect to that 5, and that 3 is going to come out. No.
Kitsy, I think. Do you keep it this time? Nope. Same decision.
And the 5's Nakatsuji. I wouldn't feel bad about pushing it.
Hey,
Oh my
that saves
goodness.
the hand.
That is the perfect draw. The only thing that and the 4
Wow.
are the only things that bail him out here. So now waiting on the 3-4, there is what, 1-4 left, and that's all? Yes. Waiting on
We do see
effectively
that
hell
1-mon cut. Could we get a Tempa here? In which case that 3-mon might come out.
I can't see pushing
Yeah.
the 3 here. That would be aggressive and would be punished severely. Well, we're about to find out.
It is double run 3-mon. Oh no.
A very un-Oliver play. Oliver's usually a very defensive player,
Surprising
but
since
sitting in 4th, that's a really aggressive push.
it wasn't even Tempa is the thing. Interesting
Well,
drop
it
there.
could have been worse, but still hurts. It's going to be 7,800. And move to East 4-1. Dealer has a pretty good starting in here. A floating Dora. Now a Dora Penchon. There's potentially Ricci Pinfu Dora. Potentially Itsu, but unlikely. On the right, a whole bunch of even tiles in the hand. But honestly, pretty good shapes. The more I look at it, the more I like that hand. Across the way, well, I see a whole lot of so tiles and not much else, so I'm just thinking Onitsu and not looking very closely. And on the left, that is a Pinfu type hand with a Dora. It's going to be very awkward to figure out how you're going to put it together, though.
Nice Conchon fill there with the 5-so draw for Nathaniel.
That is a really nice Ishantan on the right. And that is not one of the tiles you need. But basically anything that connects to the 6-mon or anything that connects to the 3-pin is Tempai. So I mentioned him
dealer
there for Max. deciding, do I just want to cut the door? And the answer is
Yeet.
maybe. Three-sided Ricci on the right.
Wow.
Ricci, Pinfu, and either Tanya or Dora. One of the two is guaranteed.
Perfect draw
Yeet.
there.
And
Another
Chase
Ricci
immediately on
here.
the left, waiting on two. Oh, Ipatsumo! Ricci, Ipatsu, Sumo, Pinfu, Tanya, and Ura would be Hanemon. Doesn't get it, but does pull in 10,300 and closes the gap significantly.
Yeah, two-way battle for first here after the East round. We move into South 1 now.
Flandira is a decent hand, not a great one though. You see, the shapes seem to be there, the value not yet. On the right, we see 1, 2, 3 pairs. Similarly, the shapes seem to be there, but the value doesn't. Across the way, pretty much a Pinfu hand. You'd love to upgrade to 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku. And on the left, yuck. The 6-0 makes it a little bit better, but I don't like that hand at all. Dealer pairs up the non, can now call for Yakuhai, and does.
Still needs a bit of work, but definitely helps to be able to start calling now.
Well, now you've cut the 1, yeah. You're keeping the 8, so just kind of a floater to accept Dora. There's a distant Toy, but you're just looking for anything here if you're dealer. Oh, interesting situation on the right. How much do you
Wow.
sell out for Sananko, thinking your hand is garbage otherwise?
There's two
And
so cut.
says, yeah, takes the perfect Ishan 10, which you would for sure there. But it'd be an interesting choice if you draw 3-6 Mon. Ooh, does not take the 9-pin Pone. Now, there's
Yeah.
one of your 3 so on the right, so you may just end up with a Ricci Nomic. Would have to throw the Doric here, but does. There's a nice 6 fill in for the dealer. Very
Gives it-
wide Ishan 10.
Yeah, nice Kutsuki here, especially with that 4, 5, 6, 7 shape. And you can even call the Monzu shape as well. A lot of
Yeah.
calls you can make into Tenpai. There was the 1 so backfire.
There's
That's one of the
Tenpai.
Tenpai.
Yeah, waiting on 5-8 for non-only, so 1,500, but would be a Renchan. Interesting the 6-pin is cut. Just selling out for the Sananko now. And look at all those 5s and 8s popping up.
Yeah,
and
and I don't
next
think any of them are leaving that hand either.
I don't think so. Oh, there's going to be a
Ricci.
Ricci on the right. Ricci, Nomi, but Sumo would be Sananko, waiting on 7-pin, 3 so. There is one of each left.
7-pin is Suji trapped.
And if you're Nathaniel, do you just jam it or do you throw the safe 9-pin?
Your hand's so cheap, I might just throw the 9-pin here. 4-mon into Ipatsu is a bit risky.
I jam it just because the 1 came out. If that were a 2, I'd fold the 9.
We do see him jam it.
Chi.
There's a Chi for K10 across the way. Could see a Chi here and maybe a 6. Well, not a 6-pin cut. Uh-oh. You definitely cut the 6 here, though, I think.
Yeah.
No.
No, it
But
doesn't.
doesn't. Deals in.
It was
will be
Tsuji, as
Nomi.
I said, so I can understand why.
Yeah, keeps the better weight, but deals in for the 1,600. Not a major change though, as we move to South 2 with no aura.
Yeah, that hand was pretty cheap without the Tsumo.
And that looks like a Sanshoku, and I haven't even looked at all the shapes yet, and it still looks like a Sanshoku. The question is, could you add Jun-chan to it? On the right, pretty standard Pinfu. Across, pretty standard Pinfu. And on the left, I don't know, Honitsu, Kokushi? Not
It's kinda
Kokushi, not
bad.
quite enough.
Maybe if
Yeah,
the East was still Yakuhai, I'd have a chance, but
I'll go with just bad. That
yeah.
seems appropriate.
Nice 3-mon pickup for Oliver here.
And I think it's important to just say how often people get bad hands. That's something a lot of players run into. I think they're the only ones getting bad hands. No, as you see, even A1 players get garbage all the time.
You were talking about a potential Junchan. This hand is certainly moving in that direction here.
Yunshan,
Ishan 10
Sanshku,
for it.
Ishan 10. I mean, if you get a chance to call for 3 Han, you generally do so.
Yeah, especially Penchon Penchon. It's pretty slow. You just gotta probably take the Tempai as soon as possible.
And that floating 7 so on the left just feels like it's going to come out any second.
Yeah, you have a couple
Each.
tiles you might cut before it. Well,
On
with
the
a
right,
Ricci,
there's the
no, it's
Ricci
probably not going to come
Pinfu
out.
with the 6-9 in Mon. Would just be the 2 Han.
We see Max did have an Ishan 10, but I'm willing to push that door into the Ricci, so just going to defend with the 2-pin.
Sumo.
It's the Sumo Ricci, Sumo Pinfu. No aura, so just the 2700 and the Ricci stick back. You really want some aura to try and close the gap, which is the point of that Ricci, but sometimes the wall just doesn't deliver.
Yeah, not a great dealer hand here for try to come back with.
Yeah, Oliver. I mean, the shapes are there, the value isn't, and I say that I've been saying that a lot this game, and it's because that's what they're getting. On the right, a Hatsu pair, but honestly, the rest of it, Chanta and Adora maybe across the way, decent shapes in pin and not great everywhere else. And on the left, Pinfu hand with Adora, maybe a 1-2-3 or 2-3-4 Sanshku. But this is another one. Everyone has pretty bad hands altogether. You can see the shapes in almost all of them, but the value just isn't there yet. Like you see one Dora in Max's and Bishen's, but other than that, I'm not seeing anything. Interesting 4-so cut there for Oliver. I think I'd cut 9-pin or 1-so or 1 Mon and just see if I can turn it to a Tanyao.
Yeah. 3-pin draw helps the hand a lot. That finishes one of your bad shapes there. It does give
Yeah,
you...
and even if you end up on a Champon 1 Mon 7-pin, it's not terrible. And
There we
that's
go, we're
exactly
just going to
what you
see
get.
it. And the rest
And
of
this
the
is
table...
another one. So I'm glad that this time makes the adjustment. If you're gonna take the, oh wait, no, that was Bishan earlier. But if you're gonna take the Tempai, just Ricci.
Yeah.
There's
Especially
no
in this
reason to sit
position
around.
here. If you can just scare the table into folding and getting a wrench on, that's almost as good as winning. Nobody wants to deal into last place Oya here.
Well, even if they do, even if it is just Ricci Nomi, we've seen enough Urasan in this league.
Yeah, and of course the players don't know this is a Richinomi.
Well, that's the third 2, so that 1 is getting very dangerous there for Max.
All the Pinzu tiles are looking pretty dangerous, so you don't have too much to fold with here. You could try your luck at a Hatsu pair, but it is Shonpai.
I think he's just gonna jam if he gets to Tempai. Yeah, I think this will be a call and a deal in. Ooh, nice discipline.
The 2 Monrichi tile is a bit suspicious.
Yeah, that's the only consideration you're having because it could just be the 2-3 on with the last one. It also can be this type of shape with a 1-1-2.
If you're Max here, sitting in first place, you really don't want to risk anything by dealing into dealer.
Three's safe. That wasn't the 3 I was thinking of, but that's also safe.
Yeah, plenty of safe tiles here.
And still 2 on the wall on Oliver's weight. Where are they?
Sumo.
There it is!
There's one of them.
This would be a good time for an Urasan. But no, just the 1000 all.
Not blessed by the Aura gods today, but Oliver does get a wrench on here. Gets the Rikishi stick back and is at 14-2 with a decent, not great hand though. Looks like a Tanyao, maybe using a Dora. I don't really see Sanchoku yet. On the right, looks like a Pinfu as well. Across, feels like a 789 Sanchoku. And on the left, Chun pair, Tone pair. So I think it's one of those call and go hands. You'd love to get over 30k if you're Bishan, but I don't see it with that hand.
Right.
Unless you can turn it into a Honitsu somehow, and it seems unlikely.
It's a difficult hand to play closed. I think I would just accept that it's going to be a cheap hand and just move on past Oliver's dealership, try to do something in South 4.
Right, say that way it'd take a 4th place honeymoon to get you out of 3rd place, and you'd still have a pretty good chance to. Now, see, that Tone's an interesting choice, because I would have just called that.
We do see a nice Kutsuki Ishan 10 for LPY already.
Ooh, dealer's hand is starting to come together, but a little bit
There's
slow.
Tempai.
There's
You're just going
Tempai,
to
that's
immediate
easy.
Ricci.
Yeah, that seems like the way I'd play it for sure. There's some who'll just Dama there, but a 9 weight is a 9 weight. And it's looking like it may come out from Nathaniel, because he's not going to have safe tiles.
And there it is. Direct hit. Ricci Pinfu. And Aura 2.
That's a huge win for Max, because that knocks everyone under 30k.
Yeah.
So if he can pass the dealer here where everyone else is no 10, or at least if Nathaniel's no 10, then he'll get the bonus Uma. But starts out with a pretty decent hand here. 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku looking fairly likely. Maybe even manage to pull Junchan into this with some luck. On the right, we see a Chun call. Just going for that 1,000 to get over to the positives.
Boy, Tuso draw
Oh,
was
wow.
so incredible. We're going to see a
Across the way.
Khan going to hold on to the tune, not going to call it immediately.
Yeah, well, you're just fine with 1,000. You don't even want the con, I don't think. I'd be keeping it as a safe tile.
Makes sense. There's no rush to call it.
Right. There's not going to be that. Even if you hit a Dora and extra Fu, you're going from 1,000 to 26, which is
Oh, what are these draws? There's the
Eats.
1 pin now.
Wow.
It's going to take the Ricci
Ricci.
right away.
Ricci Pinfu waiting on 3-6. Could have gotten a little greedy and thrown the 4-5 going for the Sanchoku Junchan, but I wouldn't see why you'd do that. Just take what the game is giving you, and does.
It's definitely something you'll notice from a lot of the players in A1. Is if they hit Tempai, they'll just take it. They're not going to mess around trying to go back and Shanten for more value.
Unless the shapes are just terrible some way, or you think the weight's just unacceptable. But yeah, and the rest of these hands, well, the one on the left is starting to look like there's something there, but you don't even necessarily want to win this hand in 4th place. You're not going to need value with this.
Yeah, it's a very cheap looking hand.
Of course, you have Nathaniel, who's looking for an excuse to go for the Chun Dora 2. A 3-6 still has 5 in the wall here. Interesting, the Forso is not called. Definitely seem to be giving up. May have also decided he just won't throw the Haku into this because it is live.
Yeah. Pichen does have one of the more defensive playstyles. It's not really willing to push anything into a Ricci unless the hand's like worth it. But from here,
My
kind of a
goodness,
trash
look at
hand.
that on the right. I think you're just pushing now. Forget this. Throw the 1 or the 9.
Yeah, that's a lot of Dora. There's the 1.
Maybe he's just like, oh, well, the Haku's safe. I should probably throw it. Keeping it for a bit. 9, he just thrown the Haku immediately. 8 doesn't help.
It is Suji
5.
at least.
Yeah, it's fine. I'd push it without even really thinking too hard about it. Could throw the 6 if you want to get super greedy. I do not like the 5 whatsoever.
Maybe.
Just folding now.
Yeah, maybe thinking that they didn't want to cut 9 mon, so keep the 8 mon because it's connected to it.
Yeah, the 9
But
non
at this
doesn't look
point, it's a fold.
particularly good. But when you have 3 Dora, I
Sumo.
just Oh, there's the sumo on the last draw for Max. Ricci, Sumo,
And Nora
Pinfu, and
as
an
well.
Aura, and that's going to be 2,600 all. And Max is not giving this game up just yet.
Not at all. And that makes it a little bit harder for Nathaniel to get back above 30,000 as well.
Yeah, you see he has a Yaku high, a few other pairs, but that's not going to be good enough now. But Dealer has by far the best hand here. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanya, maybe even Dora 2. On the right, a Chun pair, Pay pair, 2-pin pair. Decent shapes elsewhere across the way. Looks like a
Oh my, these
Pinfu
draws
hand.
from Max. He's just on
Wow.
fire here.
Just wait for him to draw the other 6, so. And the hand on the left is pretty good. It's decent, I guess. You do have a potential 2-3-4 Sanshuku. You have a possibly Peiko and Pin, but not too much value yet. Lots of potential for value, though. Wow.
That gives you another round in there. Still missing a pair for this hand. Of course, he'd like
Yeah,
to
but
make that the Dora, but
any of 3, 4, 6 will fix your problem
Yeet.
immediately. And there's Tempai on the right, a Ricci Chun waiting on 2-pin Pay. And I can't imagine Pay will be held.
right. It looks like it's gonna be
Cheat.
difficult for the hand to have enough value, right? It would be if with Sumo would be enough, right? Yeah, Sumo's enough.
Yeah. Ricci,
Ron,
Sumo, Chun. Roan, Ricci, Chun. You would need an Aura. That'd be 6,400. Because Pay is not
Yep.
the Yakuhai for Nathaniel, it's not going to do it. Ooh, Doratonki, Doratonki.
Here we go.
There are 2 6-0 in the wall and 2 Pay in the wall. And that's it. You see Max does not like that 3 mon. Decided to just get out of here.
Oh, actually, with the I forgot about the home bow. This is actually enough on a Roan as well to get above 30,000 for Nathaniel.
3,200, 35. Oh, and the Ricci stick back. Yeah, that'd be right. Yeah, that'd be good enough. I had the amount right. I forgot the Ricci stick. Tends to be important. And of course, you're Nathaniel going, who is using Pay as my pair?
There's
And
the
the answer is
Sumo.
they don't need it. Ricci, Sumo, Chun.
Aura 3! I
Son!
don't think that's
Oh
enough,
my! No,
but
it's
that
not
is
close.
huge.
But wow! Oh, and Max is going, really?
Well, I mean, after
Yeah,
that
I had a
dealership,
pretty good game so far, but
I think
still, you're a son like
yeah,
that, and you
not too
see,
disappointed with plus 38, I'd imagine.
yeah, plus 38 for Max, Nathaniel with a 13.9, Bishan taking a minor hit with minus 15.4, and Oliver taking the big hit with minus 36.5.
Yeah,
Wow.
that double Roan just really killed Oliver. Was never able to come back from that.
Yeah, I said at the time that's a very that play is very unlike Oliver's normal style. I'd have to go back and look at it because he's usually a very defensive player. But regardless, I mean, you can't stop Orasan, you can't stop those sumos from Nathaniel because you had that big one at the very end there, and the big one on the Cheetoy in the previous game. And that's how you make up a 60-point gap, which I believe is the net Nathaniel's had over these 2 games.
And so that first place is enough to bring Max back into positive. Beachen loses a bit of a lead, but even with that third, it's still going to be enough to stay in first after the start they've had. Oliver is in a bit of danger, but it's still very early.
Yeah, and note that these stats are from last season because I guarantee you I don't have a sub 10% feed rate this game, these two sessions. But regardless, you can see here Bishan clearly in the lead, but Amy not that far
I
behind.
think these are still
It's
haven't
still
been
pretty
updated
early.
for this last game
Yeah, if we see fives, then definitely.
because we did see
This is
like Max was able to go back into positive after that.
right. But regardless, any closing thoughts other than Suanko?
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight for me. This is my first time I was got to cast A1. That was a fun time, and yeah, some good games overall.
All right, then we'll wrap it up here. This is when we plug everything: Twitter, YouTube, the follow button here on Twitch, all that good stuff, the website. And so for Lucas, this is Korak for the American Reach Vision League signing off. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night.